what you're asking me to do is impossible.
Nothing's impossible. You just have to have faith.
I have something to talk to you about.
The only reason a dead guy shows up at my door.
You ready?
Ready.
You stole our money and left us with nothing but suffering. That's what I came here for. To end that suffering.
You heard it up top. We are back with a family franchise. Not a franchise for families necessarily, but a franchise about families. Because we're talking the one, the only Fast and the Furious franchise, Fast X, here on Normies Like Us with your hosts. I think we all got to be it. I think we all got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Colin Toretto.
That's right. Mike Toretto.
Oh,
And this is Uncle Jacob Toretto.
Uncle Jacob, yeah. I missed you, Uncle.
I love you, Uncle Jacob.
To family. I got my
Fam.
Corona right here.
You can have any beer you want as long as it's a Corona.
That's
Wow.
right, Mi Familia. We're back once again. Listeners, we've done an episode in the past. We talked about the Fast and Furious franchise. We did an episode in the past dedicated to just Furious 9 or whatever the hell it's called.
F9, yeah.
F9. Oh, that's right. Jesus Christ.
F off.
But
Was that,
Keyboard
that
shortcut.
F up. But we are back once again with another entry, like we said, in Fast and Furious. We're talking Fast X today. I'm so excited. It's been a minute, but what is y'all's history? Jacob, what? Come on.
Come on.
Hey, you're part of the agency, right?
That's
Yeah,
right.
he's
The
our
agency.
brother
I'm Jacob Nobody. Normies, if you're not watching our video version, I'm holding my Corona here. Ran out and got a 6-pack right before this recording, so I could, toast this franchise in a proper way.
I'm so upset that I did not think of that. Like, man, we should be having a barbecue right now. You
Right?
know?
That's right.
Yeah.
Because you're all
really
part of
we
our
should.
family, Normies.
Brian will be here
Well-
later. He's just hanging out with the kids.
We'll
That's
keep
right.
talking
You-
about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
I'm
just off screen.
I'm like Little Miss Nobody. I'm gonna serve you guys a Stella Artois.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Change
that's
things
right.
up a little this
I
time.
remember, yeah, the Stella drops. There was Bud Light for a while, too. So, who
That's
knows?
right.
That's what I was saying. I was happy to see that they were actually drinking Coronas in the beginning because it felt like for a few movies it was Bud Light for some reason. Like they lost their Corona sponsorship
I
or
think
something.
just got paid more. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, now we're back to the old school Coronas, like it should
Back
be.
to family, right?
LA living. Yeah.
Yeah. So our history with the series is what
Yes.
beers they have. Yeah, essentially.
That's right.
Yeah.
And no, we
Um,
love it.
Well, we've talked about this franchise before on this podcast, I think.
Friend of the show, Cole.
Yeah.
Yep.
Friend of the show, Cole.
That's
if you
right.
go back,
Family
we
of the
talked
show.
about
Sorry.
F9 and F8.
That's right.
Maybe even F7. I don't remember, but I'm a fan of the franchise going back to the OGs. I think this franchise, gained sort of a self-awareness over the past few years where I think it really peaked a couple movies ago. Once they became
Yes.
too self-aware, it kind of got too much for me. And now it's kind of, it's past its peak of, peak Fast and Furious. But I think, it's still a good time at the movies. And I just saw the new one literally earlier today. So I'm very excited to talk about it.
Right.
Cheers, family.
Cheers, family. I guess quickly, yeah, I've seen all of them. I agree with Jacob that at a certain point they became kind of these self-feeding, like we're just going to reference the memes, basically.
Yeah.
And that's when they become a little over the top. And
It was better when, they didn't realize how, like, it was over the top, but they weren't purposely trying to be over the top.
they weren't self-aware. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but now they know it. But they're definitely their own thing. This kind of telenovela with cars, like it's a soap opera now, right? And that's kind of interesting. But yeah, we've seen them. Quality is up and down, and we'll talk about what we think about this one. But yeah, Colin, how about you?
Well, I'm very excited to talk about what we think is peaking as well. I've got some comments I want to make about that too for this franchise.
Yeah,
But yes,
yeah.
like you guys have seen them all. I don't think I started seeing them in theaters until probably 6 and beyond.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe like DVD copy of Fast and the
Yeah.
Furious at a sleepover, and
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
like that.
I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of how I was taking them down beforehand. Before
And
I
as
was
we
like,
said,
I got to show up for this bad boy.
5 I saw
Yeah.
in theaters, and that was
5.
good.
Yeah. I think we said before, like the first movie, is like a legit good movie. Like it's like very low key, like street racing movie set in LA.
Just Point Break.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and then from
Yeah.
there they just kind of got crazier and crazier to where they're, like you said, a soap opera slash superhero movie with cars is
Slash
kind of how
spy
I see
movie.
them now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like a James Bond superhero soap opera, and then like Dom's not even in the second one, you know. And then Tokyo Drift, he's only in the
Tokyo Drift.
cameo. So the franchise is very different in the first three, and then they're like,
Yeah.
it's all family time, you know.
Right.
Yeah, they had to fast form the new formula, and that's what they did. But yeah, you know, we're behind the wheel again. We're here. I think there's a lot to talk about, so you know, I'd say it's time
Absolutely.
to change gears and you know, put the pedal to the metal as we talk Fast X on normies like us. Just don't be double clutching and granny shifting, you know.
You never had me. You never had your car.
You never had me.
Monica. Yeah.
Iron Giant hates guns. Remember that Fast and the Furious quote? That's my favorite one.
I
Oh,
am
yeah.
Groot.
It's my
Yo.
favorite character is Groot in the Fast and Furious franchise.
Did you see the Photoshop that somebody did? Is a Fast X poster where they just replaced every character with their other characters. So it's like Captain Marvel, Groot.
I wanted to talk about.
I wish.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about how many DC superheroes there are specifically.
Well, let's
in this
talk about our
movie.
cast and our family, right? Should we just jump
I love
in?
that.
Yeah, let's lay it out on the line. There's a lot of superhero outcasts here, not just DC. But Jacob, go ahead and set the table for
There's
the family
Marvel as well.
barbecue. Yeah.
There's a Captain Marvel, if you will, but just
Mhm.
from DC, we have Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Black Adam, spoiler alert,
Hey.
and who else?
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker.
And full spoilers, guys, on everything.
Yes.
All right.
Two of those are kind
yes,
of
yes,
big
yes,
spoilers,
yes.
I guess you could say. Wonder Woman, Giselle
Yeah.
is back. You
Yep,
remember?
Jacob, you're making some interesting points. I want to talk
Yeah.
about all that. I want to talk about what I think is the effects also of Marvel in this film, because again,
Yes.
spoilers, we'll talk about it. It felt very much like a very specific Marvel movie in the way that it ended.
Mhm.
But let's ramp it up a little bit to introduce it to say
Yeah.
Fast X is the sequel to what was a long delayed film from COVID.
Mhm.
F9.
Corona.
It's Corona. It's a bit of a film that's a little different for the franchise because a longtime collaborator, Justin Lin, who still gets a writing credit on this, of course, started out as the director, but did not end as the director.
No,
That's right.
no.
And I forgot about this until the credits showed up, and I was like, Louis Leterrier. I think I'm not sure if I'm
Mhm.
pronouncing his name right.
Louis Leterrier, yeah.
He's a French guy.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh shit, I didn't know he directed this. And then I
Yeah.
remember, oh yeah, they had some kind of difficulties on set. And yeah, so that's what
we needed
happened.
a
I
yes
guess.
man for Vin Diesel. Louis was the
Yeah.
guy. Yeah.
Maybe seems that way.
Yeah, but this again, like I said, Fast 9, we get introduced to like the whole drama of you have a secret brother. We get the flashbacks to Dom's origin and his dad and that whole thing, and you know. But then by the end of it, Jacob's family, right? So we're at a barbecue and
right.
it's like, wow, here we are. Look at us. Who would have thought? We get some new missions. It's gonna be hard to go beat by beat, honestly. I think broadly, just there's a
And they talk about
yeah.
in this movie, they mentioned several times how all it takes is a beer and a barbecue, and you're part of the family now.
Yeah.
think
Hulk,
you could just
you know?
change our minds, Toretto, with a beer and a barbecue?
It's so self-aware, and if you were to take a
Yeah.
shot every time somebody says the word family, like you would die. Like
Yes,
they really
you
hammer
would.
the family meme home, and like I see that a lot. Like
They're leaning
insert
into
Vin-
it.
Yeah,
for
you see the
sure.
Vin Diesel
Yeah.
like, oh Dom, that's a T-Rex. T-Rex is strong, but not as strong as family. It's like that's a
Yeah,
dead
yeah,
format.
yeah.
That whole
Yeah.
format's dead. It's not funny, but they lean into
No.
it so hard here. So
Absolutely.
it's wild. A little bit cringe to me sometimes.
It's
This is a
yeah, like I
movie.
said, they're getting too self-aware to the point where it's like, you know, a meme is only funny if it's not funny if you're making it funny on purpose, kind of thing, right? It's
Right.
funny when it's just kind of came out that way, and that was kind of, you know, what they didn't realize what they had, I guess. But between like 4 and 7, that was like really the high point of the series for me, and ever since then it's been kind of like, well, how can we top it? Well, this time they'll go to space. This time John Cena's in it. This
Right.
time, well, we'll have Jason Momoa and Brie Larson. Sure.
Back again. Yeah.
And Colin, you were talking about Marvel. I feel like this is like the Avengers Infinity War Endgame of
mhm.
Exactly.
Correct.
because they got everyone back. Like if you had a small cameo at all in this series, like
Yeah.
Helen Mirren,
Yes.
you know, you're back. It's crazy. Yeah.
Almost everybody is back. It is very much like that. We also have, Captain Marvel's here, Groot's here. We have Clea. We did get a, Doctor Strange scene with Charlize Theron. So everybody's a
right.
superhero,
Charlize is back.
literally.
Jesus Christ, you're
Jason
so right, Mike.
Statham.
We just don't
he's
have,
just a superhero by himself.
just Song Kang, his character. Yeah, he's not a superhero
Han.
yet. Han has not yet been a superhero, right? I don't think
He
so.
should
Let's
be.
well, he was an inquisitor. Never forget that, Mike. Of course.
Oh
fighting
yeah,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Very close enough.
Working Disney.
Yep.
Let's before we go into, like you said, Mike, this is such a hard film to just go beat by beat, because essentially it's like one thing is happening to one group at a time, diced up over a film. And Jacob, like
Yeah.
you said, yes, very Marvel serving that presentation. But before we go piece by piece,
even
to present
attempt
that,
it,
yeah, which might be impossible. Let's
We
say
should-
how we saw this thing, in that
Mhm.
I think this is the issue with the peak, Jacob, of exactly what you're talking about. I saw this thing alone in a theater, I think like 2 other people in there, and not
Right.
seeing this in a big crowd. I'm getting real self-aware sitting there being like, this thing's dumb. Like, it just
Yeah.
stuck in your head because I'm not sitting next to you guys having fun with
Right.
this thing.
Yeah.
No, this would have been a good one to see together. Unfortunately, we had some scheduling this weekend, was just too busy. So
Lot
I
going
saw
on.
this alone, little afternoon matinee, like a true degenerate. Walk into the theater alone, watch some Fast and the Furious. And you're right, it's different. Seeing it in a mostly empty theater, I still enjoyed it though, because it was like I rented the whole theater out for myself. So I kind of like that aspect of it.
How is that industry not surviving?
Yeah.
I had there was a local screening
Mission
over
Impossible.
here.
Tom
It's a
Cruise will
late,
save it.
right? He'll save it. Mission Impossible might, but yeah, I had a local screening over here, but it was like late 11 o'clock, so I was pretty much the only one watching it. And I'm watching it, and it's pretty long, and it is dumb. And at
So
some point, I just decided, all right, fuck this. And I walked out of the theater, and I went and I got a drink, and then came back, and I was like, okay,
You made the right choice, Mike.
I need to get ready for
Wow.
this. Like,
You got to step away from this.
it
movie
started
at
to
a
set
certain
in.
point.
You can't just, this is not a sober viewing
But
movie.
like the last one being delayed with COVID, right?
Mhm.
Just felt like it was like, oh no, we're losing steam or whatever. And if you're not seeing this thing in a super packed audience, you're not getting the full experience. So to see this one that kind of like, I don't know, is the finished energy coming off that already kind of slowed down energy? I think we're in trouble, guys.
We
Well,
are
I'll
in
say this.
trouble.
Oh, I guess there's only one more, maybe 2 more now. Vin is saying.
I've
but-
heard spin-off talks too. Who
Yeah,
knows?
Hobbs and Shaw too. I mean,
he's back.
the
There's
end
rumors
credit
of
scene
a
of this.
female-only one, like
But
spinning
here's
off
what I'll
that
say
side.
about
Yeah,
even these
please.
new ones. They're kind of doing something that is keeping me interested. Like F9, John Cena as his long lost brother. Okay, you got me hooked based on that.
Mhm.
This one, Jason Momoa, having the
like
time
where
of
you're
his
going
life.
Before we drag
Um,
it, let's talk
yeah.
about what's good here.
My favorite part of this movie, Jason Momoa. Every time he was on screen, I was having fun, and then every time he wasn't on screen, I was bored. But he's basically playing like the Joker in this movie, right?
Yeah, he's Jason the Joker.
he's
yeah,
But he's so charismatic, like he's so swaggy, like he's just like
That's-
he's
you
doing
know-
Jared Leto Joker, but like a better
Yes.
version of Jared Leto
Mhm.
Joker.
That's amazing.
And more
I
fun.
love this comparison because Jacob, the entire time I'm watching it, I am going, what other franchise has such a stoic, reserved lead that he would allow another character to be so chaotic and fun and over
Yeah.
the top? And you're right, that's exactly what it is.
Mhm.
And maybe they don't match up too well, I guess, because
No.
because Dom is so stoic and serious, and then Jason Momoa is just having the time of his life, being like a sociopath and just
You're
making
kind of
jokes the whole
rooting for
time.
him by the end of it.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. It's like Jason Momoa knows what movie he's in, but
Yes.
Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel doesn't know what kind of movie he's in. He's taking it so self-serious, and it's like, bro, like you're not
But I feel
that
like
cool.
that's-
I'm sorry, but you're not.
Yeah. I feel like part of what makes this franchise what it is, though, is just that the lead man is just so just plays it so straight while all this insanity is happening around him. And then you have the side members
True.
like Tyrese and Ludacris as like the more comic relief characters.
Oh, Pete Davidson, my favorite past family member. If he's
Davidson.
not at the barbecue,
Guys.
anyway.
But
But
Jason
Momoa
Momoa
is great. Yeah, he is great.
and
in
he has this rock star quality to him where he's just like why did it take so, like he's obviously so charismatic. Why did it take so long for him to play this like charismatic villain type? Because he's played Aquaman. He's pretty charismatic in that as a hero.
yeah,
But
Jacob. I haven't
Hell
been on
yeah.
the podcast in a while, brother.
hey, there
Toss
he
me a
is.
Corona, brother.
Oh, hey, me Fishmelia. How are you?
You're my school.
Right. And obviously he was
Get
called
outta here.
Drogo. He was great as called Drogo, but
That's a very
this is like a
serious
new
character,
role
yeah.
for him where he's just like, just kind of do whatever you want and just ham it up. It doesn't matter.
I feel like
The
some of this,
nail polish scene.
right?
Yeah.
Like some of this
We'll
has to
get
be
it,
coming
we'll
from him, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's probably just
wonder-
wearing his own
yes.
wardrobe and being like, just let me
I-
wear whatever I want to
I
wear.
want to play a little off type and just be
I
this
believe
kind
it
of
too.
flamboyant, over the top kind of character. It's fun as hell, man.
Mike, the mixed reports you get that Vin is so lazy on set that watching this one, supposedly you're supposed to check in anytime he actually shares the frame with any other actor on this film, because it seems like he really never does. But I
Wow.
wonder if it's the opposite. And with the whole director fallout, it is Vin who's just right there behind the camera saying to him, say whatever you want, Jason. That's so funny what you said about the dead guy,
Yeah.
needing his nails painted.
We'll shoot the whole scene. Yeah, it's
This is great.
it's wild
think-
because
Yeah.
just that mindset, and then I'll pass it to you, Jacob. It feels like hearing reports behind the scenes, like Vin Diesel needs friends to make these movies, so he might be very
Right.
accommodating now to a Jason Momoa. Like, yeah, see, I'm
Yeah.
easy to work with, like, because there's a lot of reports of friction with him and his ego. So I don't know.
The thing
but yeah.
is, and the reason they still make these and they make so many is because they still do well financially when they come out. So they're like, it's almost like the studio has to put up with Vin Diesel just because he is Dom Toretto. So they're like,
This
"All
is
right,
the greatest
whatever."
fleece in Hollywood history.
Yeah.
What Vin Diesel has done is the biggest fleece, making them think he's a draw and he's a
Right.
charismatic
Yes.
lead. It's insane.
But in
Yes.
reality, you could easily carry on this franchise without Dom Toretto even being in it. Like,
He doesn't want to
it's sort of
admit
taken
that.
on a life of its own with all these crazy side characters and the stunt casting of like adding all these random stars every movie. It just seems so
Yes.
like Brie Larson is just so randomly in this movie.
Mhm.
But it's fun. And I also feel like Vin Diesel, he may be lazy on set, but I also feel like he's kind of like the ghost director of this movie where he's just kind of calling the
Uh-huh.
shots and no one dares say no to him. And that's maybe why Justin Lin and him
That's
have
my
problems.
theory. Yeah.
Yes. Jacob, I think it's this thing that people truly have reported where, and I think this third finisher for the Fast and Furious franchise that he's started to pitch in the media is part of it, where like you'll hear reports where he'll just say like, Riddick Furiosa, the fourth chapter is coming along really well. And like the producer would be like, we have no idea what he's talking about. Like,
Yeah.
that's not happening. And I bet he's a guy who, like, to the Brie Larson of it, is like, roses show up at her trailer every day, but
Mhm.
like, she also has no idea where he is when it's time to shoot. Like, I'm
Sure.
sure
Yeah.
he's like super accommodating and kind, and yes, hard to deal with for the studio and
Yeah.
everybody else possible.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you've seen the video of when they were shooting this with Justin Lin and it's them together on video, it almost feels like he's holding him hostage and saying,
Yeah.
isn't this picture going to be great, man? Like we're having
We're
such a
doing
great
what
time.
the fans want, aren't we, Justin? And
Yeah.
he does not want to respond, does not want to be there, quits, I think, like 3 days after
Yeah,
that
it was
video
pretty
is
quick.
released.
Pretty fast.
Yeah.
But
And of
then the
course,
other
there's
th-
the
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead. Just the history of him and The Rock on set together, and they had a big falling out, of course. And I know it was in their contract that him, The Rock, and Jason Statham, anytime they had like fist fights, they would have to land an equal number of blows, so no one could come out on top, kind of thing. They're
Right.
all, it's in their contracts that they can't look like they got beat by the other one. So
Yeah, and I
Pretty
think Jason
wild.
Momoa in this, he doesn't like land a punch on Dom Toretto. I do not think at all. So
no,
interesting.
he
And-
only fights Han.
right, but then to think
Yeah,
of
I
the
believe they
extended
only
cast,
race cars near each other.
he
Yeah,
gets
I don't
punched
even know
like,
if they have a scene
but he
together.
does.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he punches a tooth out. You butthole. You know
Yeah.
that part.
I will
but
say,
we're jumping ahead.
the cast member that Vin Diesel has the best chemistry with in the whole franchise is Helen Mirren.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mama Shaw. For some reason, they have great chemistry together. More so in I think F9 when they had scenes together. For some reason, he has more chemistry with her than with Michelle Rodriguez, which is
Yes.
Right.
wild. But
I would
You're
agree
right.
with that. And I used to think it was just him treating classy ladies that way. He touches Rita Moreno, who plays his grandmother in this, like she is like a statue or something he has
Yeah.
never touched before. But with Helen Mirren, you're right, Jacob. It's almost like they're in love with each other.
She
But
just
he's
has so
such a
much
wacky
respect
guy,
for such a
like-
great man.
yeah, I've just
Yes.
read so much and seen so much of Vin Diesel as a person that he just seems like such a character that I would love to like hang out with him sometime. But also like he's just
Not
such a
for that
weird
long.
guy. Yeah,
With a time limit.
Yeah.
No. No.
The other thing to consider too with this picture, we talked about the DC like of it, like it probably helps them out that there's not a lot going on for some of these actors right now. That's like, yeah, I'll do your fast picture. I'm kind of chilling right now, and
right. Well,
it
that's
might
the
have
whole
influenced The Rock coming back.
exactly the rock of
Yeah,
it all. You know,
spoiler.
Black Adam being a huge failure that he was essentially responsible for that movie getting made. That he's now like, I guess I'll come back to Fast and Furious, something I said I never would do because I hate Vin Diesel.
Right, Gal Gadot
Yeah.
too. You know, Wonder Woman '84. Bat did not receive well.
Well,
you know?
Yeah.
Let's get into the plot right after this, but let's bring up
Yeah.
one more thing about this movie in particular. And Jacob, I want you to say the thing you said in the text message because we just said Gal Gadot.
Yes.
Yes, of course. Giselle died in I think Furious 7 or
Seven,
whatever
I
the seventh
believe.
one was called.
Yeah, yeah.
Girlfriend of Han died on that long runway where they were chasing a plane for like a mile, like 5 miles.
Yeah,
or
like the
whatever.
17-mile long runway. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
She shows up again at the end of this, and of course Han came back from the dead, and so I think you're never truly dead in this franchise. Even the actor that is dead in real life is still alive in this
Oh my
franchise.
God. That's
Brian,
right.
Paul Walker, who every movie they have to say, "Oh yeah, Brian's just just off screen doing
I
his
just
thing."
got off the phone with Brian. He says hi to everybody. You can't
Huh.
talk to him though. Don't.
You're so
ask.
right, Brian. Bye.
He's just catching up on Succession while this
Love
is all
you.
going on. He's
Yeah,
just
they're
catching up
watching
on
the
Prestige
kids.
TV. Yeah.
Yeah, they're watching Dominic Jr. If he didn't have a kid named Dom Jr. on Brian's side, I'm
Guys.
sure that's written. But and we'll
Little
talk about that
B.
at the end.
Little
There
B.
are potentially casualties in this movie, but it's like I don't buy any of it.
Yes.
Nobody's.
I don't
There's no
buy
stakes.
any of it, Mike.
No,
but
I mean,
let's
yeah.
let's lay it out now. And like I said, there's so much jumping back and forth we could do. Let's just do the chunks that it is. So the opening of this movie, because Jacob, you just saw it today, is
Yes.
well, first off, I want to talk about there are titles in this film maybe every 10 seconds, and they are huge steel, like in your face titles.
Yeah.
This one, no exception. It opens with it says like 8 years ago, 10 years ago,
10
how
years
long
ago
would
or
it have been?
something.
10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Previously on the Fast and Furious franchise. And boom,
Yeah.
we get
I'm the
this
Young
whole
and the
setup
Restless.
of of Fast 5, because really Fast X, this film is kind of going to be a sequel to Fast 5. I guess maybe that's the naming conventions. And we're introduced in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, to Jason Momoa being inserted into flashbacks, essentially, of the
Yeah.
safe heist.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the famous safe heist from 5, I believe it was,
Done
when they
practically. Yep.
pull a giant safe out of the wall and drag it with cars, on the roads or whatever.
Mhm.
You didn't know it, but the whole time, Jason Momoa was actually the son of the bad guy in that movie.
Yep.
And
He was
apparently
in
he
one
was
of the
just there
cars
the
they
whole
bumped
time.
into.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
Also,
part of
Alan
the chase.
Richson was also apparently there. Spoiler
That's the
alert.
third twist. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So the
Um,
writing is pretty much directly what I would expect.
Yeah.
Right out the gate.
But they're kind of pulling the same thing they did with John Cena, where there's like, oh, John Cena's been trying to get Dom this whole time. He's been in the background.
Oh,
Yeah.
it turns out Han survived and Mr. Nobody got him out of there and he's been in the
Right.
background. Yeah, it's all
So like
the
I said,
same.
anything that's canon in this universe can just change at a moment's notice. They can explain
Yes.
it away.
Didn't you ever ask yourself who was walking down the street that day when we were racing? Well, it's Furious 14, where it was,
Mhm.
Steve McQueen's digital goat. And you're like, I don't know. I don't
Right.
know.
I mean, we legitimately meet a character that is the sister of another somewhat major character, and it's just out of nowhere. It didn't need to
Yeah.
be that way, but it is
No.
that way
Or
because it's like
the
worse than
daughter
Star
of
Wars.
Mr. Nobody.
Yes,
Kurt
we meet
Russell.
several sisters and daughters in this film.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's the opposite Star Wars, where it's like we don't want
It
the
is all about
Skywalkers,
family,
and they
though.
all they want is everybody to be related
Yes,
to each other.
everybody
it's
needs to be
family.
connected.
Well,
That's
'cause
that's the whole
You
thing.
see, your family affects other families, right? That's
Right.
where we're at.
That's legacy and bloodlines, Mike. We're going to be talking about that a lot
Mhm.
today.
Yeah. So, but we get the flashback. We see some Paul Walker, and yeah, it turns out that they killed his dad, and he's pissed off. So that's his motivation for being our villain. And then we're kind of present day doing donuts at Dodger Stadium, thinking it's Dom, but it's not. It's a child with what I assume is short round wood blocks in the pedals. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Now,
It's little
when
B.
did your
Little
guys'
Brian.
parents let you drive a car?
Well,
I-
obviously, like 12 years old.
I was driving a car at 12 years old. You
Really?
guys weren't?
I
Well,
was
here's
not, but
There's a stipulation attached to this.
yeah.
My parents moved to their house that they just finished building. It was on like 60 acres of land. The driveway is a 1/4 mile long dirt driveway. They didn't want to drive me down to the bus every day, so they taught me to drive one of the old beater cars, and I could drive it down to the bus stop, back it into
Wow.
the parking space by the fence, and get on the bus.
And would you
So-
say you lived your life a 1/4 mile at a time?
Yeah, basically.
Your dad would
Especially
say,
on the way to school.
Mike, see the lines, feel the engine.
Feel the
Mike.
car.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And just
It was
fly.
so
Yeah.
totally, but yeah, it's
Just
a bit of a
fly,
stretch.
just fly, just fly.
Yeah, I can see, if your parental figure's in the car, like with
yeah,
Dom, teaching
Right.
him how to drive. And I mean, their whole
they're
family.
building a car
are
together.
car
Yes,
enthusiasts.
Letty
Yeah.
is like, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure letting him ride a motorcycle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's imparting
And,
important family values,
Of
Yes.
course, remember, Lil B is not Letty's biological
That's
son,
right.
but this other girl, Elena, who was the one that Charlize Theron killed, that we meet her sister in this one, like you were mentioning.
The
Yeah,
only
Lil
permanently
B's
dead
older
person
now.
so far.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
But yeah, Lil B, Lil Brian.
Lil B,
Lil B.
he was like a little baby or a little
bass
toddler
god.
in F9, so he's grown.
It's been
little bit.
like 8 years, 9 years or something. We're getting a little bit of a time jump here, but we're diving right into checking with everybody. We're going to a barbecue. We know that familiar feeling.
We know that house.
Hey.
We're saying blessings, doing quips, little jokes. Oh, you ate your food before we said amen, you goof, you silly goofer.
Roman.
Roman.
The gang's
Hey,
all
why we-
there.
Yeah, gang's all there. And I like one
Tyrese,
thing here.
Rudy
Lil
Chris,
Tez.
You talk about chemistry with Vin Diesel.
Ramsey.
Ramsey's
Yeah.
there, right? There's like a good scene with sorry, Han and Dom in the garage, and like I don't think they have a
Yeah.
lot of face-to-face talks, and like I thought that was a pretty good scene. So anyway, shout
They're
out.
all talking about this job in Rome that Roman is going to lead.
Yeah, Vin's gonna
and he's
let
like,
Roman
"Han, you
take
gotta
over."
go with him to make sure everything's okay.
What could I do? Roman has to lead a mission because Mr. Nobody's agency recruited us to save a quantum micro. You're just like, oh, no. You don't need to say any of this.
Just-
Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the important
that's the
thing
deal.
is, basically, all the side characters in the gang are going to do a mission
Mhm.
in Rome. So they're going to do that. Dom and Letty are doing
Taking
something
it
else.
slow.
Yeah.
He's maybe fucking a baby into her. Important to point out that Letty
Yeah.
is not the mother to little B because they have this scene where he's like,
Is it in you yet?
and she's like, not yet, but soon I'll feel like our love together. I was like, what on earth
Yeah,
is
they're trying to
this?
make another little Toretto,
And we get one single scene of them being romantic, and I'm just imagining
which
the
is
tension of filming it. I don't know.
it's more
like
than
alarming.
they've had in like the last few movies. I actually
Yes,
like
true.
that they had like this romantic scene because
I
I,
did
never really
too.
see them
Okay.
doing that.
The kid's asleep.
I just
Yeah.
see Dom writing himself as like the greatest, coolest, greatest guy, and it makes me cringe anytime he does anything that would be like, wouldn't it be cool if I like kiss this hot babe? I'm like,
I pick her up.
God.
We're having sex, but then I
Yeah.
put her down and make out with her because I'm respectful.
and then we're
You're like,
sensitive. and
yeah,
I ask,
okay,
yeah,
sure.
okay, but yeah, I
Of
see the
course.
writing.
Do you know what little B said to me today? He said, Daddy, you're not scared of everything. But you know what, Letty? I am scared of losing little B.
He's
and
got
losing
emotions.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is my family.
Oh.
But you know,
yeah,
the Michelle
Wow.
Rodriguez of it all.
a vulnerable
I
man.
actually
Yeah.
Love to see it.
I liked her in this movie, and we were talking about Dungeons and Dragons. She was a standout in that movie.
Yep, very good in that.
I think she gets more to do by herself, kind of in this movie, where she gets caught by the agency at some point.
Yes.
Has some scenes with Charlize.
That's like our C plot. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just the writing. I wanted some payoff where the medical droid's working on her and goes like, scanning, woman is pregnant. Oh, like some sort of like added
They
drama. But
absolutely should have done
it's
that.
Yeah, and
this
then
this
Cypher's
cutting
like,
back and
"Whoa, maybe."
forth. It's like all the storylines are going to get lost. I want to say this as we're going through.
Yeah.
There is never a moment where I was watching this where I felt like I understood what was going on or happening.
Do we
Sure.
break it down into like A, B, C,
Yes.
basically, and then we can
Well,
just yeah.
yes.
Jacob, go ahead, Uncle
So
Jacob.
what
We're
happens?
close to an inciting incident. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where we kind of set up everything else. Yeah.
So this mission in Rome that all the B characters are going on turns out, that's a setup. The agency didn't tell them to do
It's
this
a
mission.
trap.
Mm-hmm.
So Dom and Letty have to go try to save them or warn them. It
Yeah.
turns out there's actually a bomb involved. They're going to bomb the Vatican. Obviously, as it turns out, Jason Momoa has engineered this whole setup because his whole thing is that death isn't good enough for his enemies. He needs to make them suffer first.
Mm-hmm.
Never accept death where suffering is owed. Yes,
Right.
Father.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa,
yeah.
the same age 15 years ago that he is now.
Well, no. His mustache and goatee were disconnected. Now they're connected.
It took him
Yeah,
15 years to
true.
do that. But yeah, and
He's
we get this information because, they're having their nice quiet evening in, but they get a knock at their door. Greatest villain that they've ever known, Cypher, right? Enemy of my enemy is my friend. She's all beat up. She reveals that, Jason Momoa came and
What
fucked her
happened
shit
tonight,
up.
Mike? I met the devil. I thought I was the devil, but I met the devil.
I met the devil. So,
That's right.
she gets to punch him up. Every single character gets to have a badass fight scene. So we have a flashback
Yes.
strictly to give us her fight scene. I like to see it
Yes.
because I like Charlize. She's got a better
Yes.
haircut. But
She's got a better haircut than she's ever had in this franchise.
but a pointless fight scene.
She looks normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks really normal.
But I liked her in this movie more than the last one, too, because they
Me
brought
too.
her back in F9, but she
Stood in
was
a
like
box.
separated from the rest of the cast by she was just doing these drones the whole time. And so she barely
Yeah.
got to do anything. This one, she was actually doing stuff. So
Yeah.
I liked it.
So yeah, we get the enemy of enemy is my friend. Dom wants to kill her, obviously, but she reveals it's all a setup. You gotta go help your friends, and so like Jacob said, that's the main first thing in it. So I think once we get done with,
sorry,
let's say,
real quick,
yeah.
car stuff. She drives up in a future DeLorean.
Bro, that was
Mm.
cool. Yeah. As soon as I saw
What
that it was a
was
DeLorean,
that?
I'm like, it's got to be Cypher, right?
Or the Doc and Marty.
Marty, Dom, we got to go back.
Dom.
Oh,
That'll be
no.
the next movie. They'll introduce time travel.
They need to get to time travel, and then they can go
Yeah.
back and not make any past 3.
Maybe that's how they're bringing Gal Gadot and stuff back. Maybe it's been
It's
the Doc the whole
actually time travel. You got to drive so fast. You break. I met a guy named Barry Allen. He taught me how to go even faster.
That's right. I told him
That's the DC
that's
of it.
Aquaman.
So they're going to try to break up the thing. Jason Momoa
Yes.
is like, haha, all part of my Keikaku. And then there's the big action scene, because
Yeah.
they fell for it,
Again,
So
Jason
Dom's trying to
Momoa
save them.
is the Joker.
Joker.
In that he's
Yes.
just, he has
He's
this plan.
literally-
But he can kind of improvise. Anytime something happens to the plan, he's just like, that was actually part of my plan too.
Just like
So,
Dungeons and
Yes.
Dragons.
yeah.
Yes, very much everything that gets thwarted, he literally calls up and goes like, but you didn't realize that's what I wanted you to do.
I do
Yeah.
like the part when he is with Charlize Theron's Cypher, and he's like, I found out dirt on all your guards, so I have blackmailed every single one of their families, except this guy. He didn't have nothing, and he just kills him. He's like, didn't even have a dog.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't
Yeah,
find anything
didn't
to
even have a
blackmail
dog.
that guy. So he's like,
He
Right.
licks the blade with that guy's blood on it.
strongly too.
He's
yeah.
going crazy. He's just
going crazy.
it's so unhinged.
but his
Again,
charisma's off the charts.
no way any of this is on
But
the
he's
page.
blackmailed all the
Yeah.
mercenaries to work for him. So he's got a little squad now, and he's doing crazy things. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's he's rockstar Joker, just bouncing
Yeah.
around, 10 steps ahead of the team the entire movie. And even in the end, when you think, oh, he didn't expect that. No, he did. He had a backup plan for that.
Yeah, he's really a calculating chess master. He's way
Yeah.
ahead
Yeah.
of the Toretto family.
We
Again,
get
like the Heath
this,
Ledger Joker in The Dark Knight, kind of.
Mhm.
Actually,
You got to
yes,
choose
very much
who
so.
lives and who
Chaos.
dies. Yeah.
He's kind of got the hair too, Jacob.
Yeah.
This cool save and rescue. We see the start of what Roman's mission was. This gold car, tiny Tej, this RC car. Again,
Yeah.
you're seeing that this crew is like, we gotta hack into the mainframe to do that. And
Yeah.
again, never really believing any of
Ramsey,
it.
they're letting her drive cars and do things now more than just cyber nerd stuff.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
so
they
it's like,
jump in. It's a bomb inside. Blah blah blah. Dom shows up because only he can save the day. Chases this thing down.
defeats all known enemies, including time zones. Somehow
That's
gets
right.
there, right? Like from Los
Yes.
Angeles. Maybe it was a couple
It's
days.
literally a giant bomb in the back of a truck that is rolling towards the Vatican. Also, it's on fire. And
Yes.
Dom is the only one who can stop it with his car, of course.
Right. And we see
Jacob, did you get that I was doing an homage to what you did with the safe, except my bomb was on fire?
and round because
Yeah.
it's his dad had the safe. But you know, I saw the memes that were Fast 10 spoilers out of context, and one of them was a Rocket League logo. And then once I saw it in the van, I'm like, oh, okay. So Dom's trying to hit this round bomb
Playing Rocket League
with
in
a
real
car.
life with a bomb.
He
Yeah.
he hits a jump of a ramp. I want to say how he finishes this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hits the back of a crane in such a way that the crane spins around, knocks the bomb into the water because he calls Ramsey, Natalie Emanuel, and says,
If I get it into the river, will we save the Vatican?
Will people be not dead? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Again,
he
I
saves
think
everybody.
Dom's-
He
he can
lands
he can do
fine.
anything. He can do
Yeah.
anything in a car.
He's
Dom's
uninjured by that too.
superpower is not that he's just a really good driver, but he can predict how other things are going to like bounce off his car at certain angles. Like he's a genius.
He's a
Yes.
genius
That
level
just knows
tactician
what's
too.
going to happen.
Yes.
He knows how to do it without injuring any other people or killing anybody, any bystanders.
His
It's
shirt
amazing.
never gets dirty. He's a master tactician. He can outthink his
Yes.
opponents when he needs to. Yeah,
At any moment.
And he's just so, you know what? And he's so mild mannered and polite and kind and respectful. And he loves his family. He's like the best guy. He's the best.
That's right.
Yes.
He should have
But
hit it with
now-
the car. I was really hoping for a Rocket League finish, but the crane was more ridiculous. So yeah,
The
whatever.
crane was more ridiculous, Mike.
Yeah, of course that was
But
going to
now
happen.
we're set up with the big inciting incident here is Jason Momoa has made it look like the family caused this destruction.
Set the
They are
bomb, yeah.
terrorists, and now they are cut off from their world. They can no longer use the resources of the agency. And do we
Yeah.
know that that's
Yeah.
what that was called, Jacob, this whole time?
I mean, I assume it's like the CIA or something, but they literally always just say
not
the
this
agency.
time. This time they made me think it's a secret underground organization.
Brian
within
O'Connor,
it
where
called the agency.
He actually worked for the FBI, correct, or
Yes.
something. They called it
Yeah,
the
back
FBI.
when-
real thing. Mike.
Back when that movie happened in, existed in the real world instead of this
But like,
over,
what's this? What
super
can they-
world.
what agency can they work for that's like in the shadows? Like, what can we name the agency? You don't just call it the agency. Like,
Dude.
all right.
Well, I
Mr.
think the
Nobody.
audience would like if it was the agency.
Yeah. So
And of course,
they're cut off from it now.
yeah.
And then
Mr. Nobody, Kurt Russell, has been missing. So there's a new boss of the agency, which is Alan Richson, giant man.
Alan
who's-
Jackson.
Yeah,
Yes,
He-
Blue
he's-
Mountain State,
Mhm.
the best.
Reacher. He was
Jack,
Jack
Reacher,
Reacher,
love him
right?
and Jack Reacher.
Yeah.
I do think he's really good in this.
Raphael.
Oh yeah, but so the conflict here is like he's now running the agency, right? He's like, oh, they're bad guys. We're gonna get them. Brie Larson works for the agency. Says, oh no, you're not. Don't do that. They're good guys. This is the family. So she steals God's eye and says, fuck off.
That's right. God's Eye, which is paying off like 8 or 7. I can't.
That's like an
fucking
important
remember.
thing
Yeah,
for the,
that's
yeah,
been
the
in the-
plot. Yeah.
The has been the MacGuffin in the past. But Mike, we're getting the introduction of in the Rome. They called on Scott Eastwood, the son of Mr. Nobody. who
Little
they call
Nobody.
Lil Nobody.
Mhm.
We're now getting the introduction of Brie Larson, his sister, who they call Little
Miss Nobody.
Nobody.
This is our third character who has the nominative Lil to their name. I don't
Yes.
love that. That is
Mhm.
very confusing.
And our
Or
third
she's
with
just
nobody.
like, just call me
Yeah.
Tess. My name's
Yeah,
Tess.
she's like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Short
But
for
the whole thing
Tesla.
with with Ames, Alan Richardson's character, is
Mhm.
that
Names.
he's like, look, everyone who tries to like stop this group ends up in their like fucking Brian originally, Hobbs, like anyone who tries to stop them just joins the
Joins
family
them.
eventually. I'm
Yeah.
not
Well,
like
and
that,
And he makes a very good point,
Yeah.
which is that he says, can I ask you something? Why have we been paying street racers to do these missions? What is
Hey,
going
they
on
get
here?
the job done. They
yeah.
they always get the job done.
Which so some of this is like, yeah, okay, we've all been wondering this. So Ames and Brie Larson
He makes
she
some
kind of
good
wants to
points.
help him. He wants to track him down, so she takes God's eye. Otherwise, he could just find them instantly. So she's bought him some time, and then that's kind of where we begin this kind of ABC story because
Separate
in that
journey.
they do
So the
capture
fallout-
Letty. Yeah.
Yeah, the fallout
Yes,
of this
important to
mission
point out.
is that they are all branded as terrorists. Letty is captured by the agency and put in a black site prison.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Jason Momoa's whole plan is that he's just gonna fuck with the family until he's done, and then he's gonna kill Dom. That's his whole plan.
Mm-hmm.
Roman, Tej, Ramsey, and what's his
Han.
name?
Han,
are
yeah.
all on a separate issue. Meanwhile, Dom has a conversation with Helen Mirren for her 2 minutes of contracted screen time where she's like, "You gotta go on that run, love."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And of course,
Roll
so
targets.
he heads to Rio de Janeiro, where of course this all started with Fast Five, and we get some street racing, which I always like to see in these street racing movies, right?
Yeah, the kind of a throwback to the first one, and that vibe, like, wow, we're doing a street race, back to basics. A lot of people wanted that. And I wanted to mention, just right for this moment, like, why these movies are successful, maybe, is for kind of what they are. And they're like globe-trotting adventures that just show, like, every country is like, oh, it's the coolest and, like, sexiest. And it's, like, multicultural, too. So it's, like, very
Yes.
inclusive in that way. It just makes
Yeah.
everybody look so cool and hip. And
Yes.
it's like, hell yeah, dude. Brazil is cool. I'm from,
Yes.
every country is the
It's
best.
a lot
it's
of
great.
good-looking
It's a lot of
people
love
having
for
a really
stuff.
good
Yeah.
time.
A lot of
Yeah.
close-up
so
shots of asses and
assets. Yeah, like
Assets.
Tokyo. It's the same scene we did in Tokyo Drift. The same scene we
Yeah.
did in LA. Just make everybody
But-
look good. And like the car scene is the coolest
Yeah.
scene.
And of course, Dominic is a hero there because he's such this
Woo!
street racing legend.
I
If you
know
remember,
who
there's
you
another
are.
one where he was racing in
And they
Cuba,
lived there for
where
a
everyone
long
loved him in
time.
Cuba.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with that broken truck.
The
Yeah.
legend of my people. Hand me that Coke bottle.
Yeah. We're importing
Um,
Coronas.
So in this one, Jason Momoa, which we should say his name, Dante
Yes.
Reyes,
Yes.
shows up and challenges him to a race. Kind of a throwback, but there's a twist, of course, because he's the Joker. He put bombs on the other people's cars,
Yes.
so then Dom has to choose
You have
between
to choose
his
Batman.
friend or
He meets a young Brazilian. I'm guessing not actually Portuguese, which is what the actress really is, but a young Brazilian racer who's up against him as well. Very spunky, very fiery, the favorite to win in this event.
Mhm.
And Jacob, she has a bomb on her car too, and Dom is presented with a Joker-like
yes,
choice.
you have to choose
of,
Rachel
are you
or
going to
Two-Face.
beat me?
Yeah.
Are you going to beat me, or are you going to save Rachel?
Exactly.
Right.
You're 100% right. I mean, it is.
But we get
Of
some
course,
great
as we
speech.
find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just the line where it's like, you killed my father and left us here to suffer. He's like, that's why I'm here, to end that suffering. I'm like, Dom, bro, you're like so cool,
Yeah.
dude.
He's ahead of you. You could say anything to him, and he will find a way to twist it.
Yeah. And nothing's impossible, Brie Larson, if you have faith. It's like, damn, you're right, Dom, bro. I reconsidered.
There's a lot of Christian imagery.
We're going to talk about
Yeah.
that at the end. But
Famous
thank you.
necklace.
against Dante, I have a bit. But so
Yes,
make the
yes.
choice,
Well,
Batman.
They literally
Devil.
call him,
The
Charlize
devil
calls him
tonight.
the devil. Yeah.
I have a big
Um,
crackpot theory at the end, but yeah.
I love it.
But of course, this woman that is this really good racer, we find out is Elena's sister. Elena being Lil
baby
B's
mama.
biological mom. Yeah.
The Brazilian agent who worked with The Rock in the past was part of the team that essentially led to the death of Reyes Sr.
Yes.
Correct.
And was
so he
killed
makes a
by
choice to
Cypher,
save her.
Charlize Theron. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
If I crash into you, it'll dislodge the bomb.
He does
If
crash
you
into
could
her
explain
tactically.
What he's trying
Yeah.
to do, I would love.
Oh, he
to
knew
hear.
that would happen, of course.
Was it the
From
transporter?
The force of the car.
What was the movie where he barrel rolls a car and it takes a bomb off
That
with
is
a
the
construction
transporter.
cook?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah,
It's
anyway.
incredible.
It
The
has that
Transporter,
kind of energy.
which was that was
Directed by Louis
Louis
Leterrier.
Leterrier.
Wow.
Starring Jason
Take the
Statham.
Starring
joke.
Jason. I wonder if
Yeah.
that's why they're like, let's get this like Jason Statham knows him, like calling a favor. Let's get this guy.
I
intriguing.
wonder about that too. Here's an homage. I wonder. The villain in the first Transporter film is introduced beating up a guy inside a punching bag,
Right.
as Jason Statham is introduced in this film as well. Is that
Yes.
an homage?
It's got to be, yeah, in our B-sides.
Yeah, and also if you remember, I think the post-credit scene of the last movie was Jason Statham punching that punching bag with a guy in it, and then Han. It was literally the scene where Han shows up. Like they were
Is that true?
flash forwarding to that. Yeah.
Oh,
Whoa.
weird.
All right,
I just
so they are
remember that
competent
from the
writers.
last one. Yeah.
I'd love to
so
see
like
that again. I
was a
barely
big
remember
mystery
any of
was
these
like-
films. And
Yeah.
this film in particular wanted to tell you about every other film every 5 minutes, and I was
It's
like,
sensory
I cannot
overload.
do this.
But I
did
guess
not rewatch any of these movies.
No.
I just for some reason have these things ingrained in my brain.
well, how can he not? It's a great tale of our time. Odysseus
Yeah.
and the Iliad and all that cannot hold a candle to what he's created here. But
Right.
sticking with the A side, so he saves the girl. He's very heroic. Her car's on fire. He pulls her out. She's looking up at him like a savior. It's great. And then, oh, you're the sister of the lady I had a kid with, and she's dead. Okay, got it. Why is he here?
But
He's just getting information, right?
He's trying to
Yeah,
find
he-
Jason Momoa, and he knows the Rio de Janeiro.
And then
link
Jason
now,
Momoa
so-
speeds
yes.
off like a Joker. Ha ha! The Joker
But-
catch you next time.
Oh,
Yeah.
Elisa kept files. I'll check right now. Oh, it says here his name is Dante Reyes, and he lives exactly right here, and he's out for revenge for you, Dom Toretto.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, you killed his dad.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the B story is the gang. They go back to London. They're trying to, find information, and of course, we get another staple of the Fast and Furious franchise: random cameos. Right. So we had Cardi B in the last one. We had Ryan Reynolds. This
Mhm.
one, who do we have? Pete Davidson.
Favorite Taco Bell spokesperson, Pete Davidson. you know?
Yes.
Did you guys watch his Peacock TV series Bupkis?
No, I've
No,
seen it
was it good?
advertised on Peacock, but I've not
Well,
watched
it's terrible, Mike. But one of the
it.
episodes
Looks like
features
a Dave with Pete Davidson,
yes,
right?
yes, or in
Mm.
Atlanta or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
But one of the episodes is about him getting a role in Fast and the Furious and trying to make it to filming on time to shoot a film role. I
that
thought
true?
that was just a storyline joke. Yeah, imagine the
amazing.
shock I
Crazy.
had on my face.
So
But
I've
let me-
seen the ads for that, and I know that it also stars Edie Falco and Joe Pesci.
That's right.
Wild.
That's insane. to
Very
me,
bad.
but-
Very bad.
Yeah,
and
did you all watch
we'll never see. No, please don't. We'll never see more of it again.
It's
But let
not
me ask you
not an
guys
ensemble to rival our Fast family, that's for sure.
No.
No.
But this ensemble and what they're going through between the container of perfume and what's in these muffins and hey, we're fighting and hey, get me receipts. Is any of the humor working for you guys at all with these characters?
There's one
Mm.
thing that works. Guys, you're fighting in the store, you're causing several dollars worth of damage or
Yeah.
whatever. And that's a
I
Pete
actually-
Davidson who
hit
shot
the-
out
you hit the
Blackguard
printer
from
so hard it's working again.
yeah.
yeah,
but
I think
for
the
the main
funniest
characters,
thing
no.
about
Yeah.
these scenes was the Pete Davidson cameo, where I'm sure they
Yes.
just let him improv his lines as well. He plays like a hacker friend of Ramsey who it's a funny scene, but usually, yeah, like the ludicrous Tyrese
That
comic
stuff
relief
wasn't working
stuff.
at all.
No,
The
and I
ro-
always
the-
don't like that in these movies. Like even
The-
F9, I didn't like it. Like it never works for me.
The
Mhm.
Roman Tej stuff is obviously geared towards like the lowest common denominator of, like you said, Jacob. Truly, you can imagine Vin being like, comic relief is when people say jokes, not when they're funny or
Yeah.
interesting things happen. Just have two characters that bicker and say jokes.
Well,
and it comes to a head with them fighting and stuff, and the whole
Yeah.
everything in this. I'm like, I don't like this.
No, it's
and this
very
has been
childish.
sort of a movies long thing where it's like, oh, Tej and Roman have this rivalry where they
A beef. They
they
gotta squash
argue
it.
all the time and they make jokes. And for a while, it was like they were both into Natalie Emanuel and like trying to get with her, but so like fighting over her, but she was
Mhm.
like not interested in either of them. So they've sort of moved past that, thankfully, but it's still
Thank
just very
God, yeah.
weird. Yeah.
It's like it started as like a throwaway like one line at a barbecue and like this is their arc. They just
Yeah.
beef with each other and like that's
and there
all
used to
they've
be
ever
like
done.
somewhat serious, more serious character, especially in like Too Fast, Too Furious when they're first introduced. with no Vin Diesel. It's just Paul Walker and Tyrese
Mhm.
and
And now
Ludacris.
he's saying lines like, "A mission in Rome's gonna work because I'm Roman." And it's
Yeah.
it is like you're just thinking
It's
like,
rough.
is that just like a first pass of just ideas? Like, what is the script is just such a mess for this.
It's just like they
Yeah.
assume anything that Roman says is going to be funny, but
Yes.
like 95% of the time it's not. And it just seems like they've been pigeonholed in these comic relief roles where they're like the tech guys, but like
Yes.
what is Roman's not really even a tech guy. He's like
No.
another car guy, but he's just no one takes
He's
him
the
seriously.
face, quote
Yeah.
unquote. He's the guy who gets stuff done. It's to the
Right.
point where if I was those characters, Jacob, I would be complaining on set that this is what my role has been reduced to.
Oh,
What it
man.
almost seems like they just have, it's obligatory that they have to bring him back. They're like, oh, of course we need Tyrese and we need Ludacris, we need Natalie Manuel, we need all
Well, we
these
need
other
some
characters
people
that
to-
don't contribute much to the plot, right?
But Vin Diesel's not going to make a joke, right? We need somebody
No.
to do that lifting
Right.
for him, right? And the
Yes.
one thing they did is Han, like they don't pay it off either. Han just gets high on a muffin for like 13 seconds.
Well, and Han
Because he
saying,
likes to snack, he's going to pick
he's
it up.
always snacking,
You hit my
going back,
snack.
But it doesn't
to,
affect him later in the mission. Like, I'm still fucked up, guys. He's just
No.
fine. He's just
No.
fine. Yeah.
right? And of course,
It's
that's
just
going
silly.
back to like Better Luck Tomorrow, right? Where he was like
Mhm.
would
A
eat in that
smoker.
movie, and so that's a throwback that I still like, where he's just like eating in every scene. Of course, he
Like he
wants to
quit
eat the
smoking and picked
muffins.
up snacks after.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then even when
I-
they meet Jason Statham, he's like, "You ruined my snacks."
You know what? I will shout out one more joke that really worked for me when he
Yeah.
makes a Tinder and they're like, "Well, it takes a minute. You know, you're not gonna get
Yeah.
hits for a couple days or whatever."
Yeah.
yeah.
And then he
Whoa,
gets
whoa.
matches immediately, and they're like, "Wait, what? Let me look at your picture.
And then
What are you doing?"
later, Scott Eastwood says, like, they're trying to get a hold of him. They're like, they're on radio silence. I couldn't even get a hit on Han's Tinder.
Damn,
Yeah.
nice. I do like Han. I have a soft spot for that character. He's just so cool.
Yes.
I love his trench coat. He's just chilling, eating snacks. Like I
He's
like
so
the Han
cool.
character.
But again,
He's
they
gotten to
took
do
a
more the last
character
two, but yeah.
that was so cool in Tokyo Drift and kind of reduced him to this side character now. Like it's great
He's
that
literally
they
a
brought him
babysitter
back.
for
But-
Roman and Tess.
But all of them. That's the issue for this whole B plot. Like, let me just say, what we're gonna get for the rest of this story is just them trying to get back to Dom and saying things like, "Was it right that I did the Roman mission? I can't believe that I did the Roman mission. We got to get back to Don. This didn't work.
I'm
we got to
not
get
a
back
leader.
to Dom. How are we gonna do it?" Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
just- you
And
just-
where is he?
I don't like that they're separated. I don't like that they're not accomplishing anything. It's frustrating on every level, and especially when the humor isn't working.
Yeah. So
again,
Dom
this
is
is
in a
the-
separate movie. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, this is like the Infinity War, so Endgame will be the next one where they can all
Yeah,
reunite.
they're like the Thor and Guardian story.
Yeah.
It's like we're doing our own thing, but we
Mhm.
gotta get back, guys. We gotta
Right.
get moving.
Right. And then you
Yeah.
have the Tony stuff that's just whatever Vin's up to.
Yeah, and even
Bare
Letty's
minimum
doing her own
character
thing.
stuff.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Letty and Cypher
So C plot here,
plot.
That's the most minimal of it.
It's
if you
so
wanna run
short.
at it.
It's literally just, and you said earlier, Mike, characters just having fights for no reason. Letty wakes up in this black site after, I guess, I couldn't understand this. Brie Larson stabbed her. How did that help her? What
I was also
the-
confused. I thought
Yeah.
maybe she
Like
stabbed her to
tracker
put a
in her?
tracking thing
That's
in her.
what I would have assumed
Right.
too.
But then I
don't
guess her
know.
whole plan was to have her be sent to the same
She needs to be in
thing
the
that
hospital
Cypher
ward.
is in, so that her and Cypher can break out together, and then Gal Gadot shows up
But
at the
then
end
they
in a
just
submarine.
fight for no reason, and then it's like revealed
that
that
is-
Literally
like,
no reason.
they're in Antarctica, and she comes down and goes like, "I can't believe we fought." And she's like, "You're right."
No, there is a reason. There is a reason because Letty is also just mad at her for killing Elena, of course. So
Yeah,
she's like,
of
"Oh,
course.
so she's like, how much time do we have? About 4 minutes. Guess that'll have to be enough." And then she starts fighting. So she just wanted to fight Cypher.
And
Just
But
to
from
get
a
doesn't
that
wanna
one.
work with
preservationist
her.
angle, you don't know where you are.
Yeah.
You're in a black site. Why would you fight right now?
She doesn't
Let's
care.
survive.
She's Letty. She can do
Yeah,
anything.
she's
She's, a
Letty.
superhero.
Letty, dude.
It's
She's
Olga,
tough.
the barbarian.
She's a tough
Yes.
girl, yeah.
Better character, Olga the
I didn't
Barbarian.
mind the fight. The fucking laser goes off. Like the fights are fine. It's just there's too
Yeah.
many of them, and a lot of them
Cool.
are pointless.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
It's definitely
and
trying to
Mike,
be sort of John Wickish, like taking a lot,
Yes.
taking, of course, like every action
Atomic
movie taking
Blonde
inspiration
DNA.
from-
Yes,
Yeah.
and I
And
read an
Charlize,
article
of course, yeah.
that was fucking Michelle Rodriguez saying that the stunt coordinator was coming up to come up with a plan, and she was like, "Look who's in this scene. Charlize and I have this." And
Yeah.
that they like
Yeah,
that's
choreographed
cool.
the
Two
whole thing
badass
themselves.
women.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if I said this on podcast before, but I'm a huge Charlize Theron fan. I
Mhm,
love
me
her and
too.
everything, so I'm always glad when she pops up. And Atomic Blonde was a great movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's nice to see them doing stuff. And then
I
like,
got real burnt out on her in the Prometheus era where it seemed like she
Mm.
was taking very random parts, but I do root for her. And so much so that I don't want her to be a part of this franchise, but I'm also nervous with how this storyline went that they're going to try to make her a good guy by the end of it.
She's
I
gonna be
mean,
at the
that's
barbecue.
that's happened so many times between Jason Statham and John Cena, the bad guy that becomes a good guy, begrudgingly part of the family.
Jason
Uh,
Momoa is gonna be sitting at the barbecue. Just you wait.
yeah. And for a while, I didn't even like that Jason Statham, was like part of the family. And I was like, he killed Han. He
Yeah.
killed Han. And for a long time, he did kill Han until they
Justice for
retconned
Han.
it that he
Right.
didn't actually kill Han.
It
So
was
now
a
it's like
hologram.
Charlize,
Right.
she killed Elena. Like,
And
people
that
can't
you
forget
can't come back from that. That
Yeah.
happened. And if it didn't,
You can't be
where
hanging
is
around
she?
little Brian.
She
Oh,
shot
this
her
is
in
your
the head.
aunt. This is your
Yes.
aunt
Yeah.
that killed your mom. Yeah, no.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like the smallest one though. It is like one scene.
Well-
and then the submarine. Yeah, we find out.
That, and then we didn't even mention the D plot, which is Lil B and Uncle Jacob.
Oh, geez,
My
there's a D
favorite plot.
yes,
This is
of
my
course.
favorite subplot.
It
So
has fun in
opens
it. Go
with-
ahead, Colin. This is your favorite.
Well, we're gonna lose what Mia?
Mia.
What is okay. I could
Yeah.
not remember Jordina Brewster's character, but we
Dom's
cut back
sister,
to-
Brian's wife.
There's
of course.
so many conversations of like, where's Little B? Trust me, he's safe because someone's with him. And it's always these reveals. And for a second, I was like, please don't be a digital ghost of Paul Walker. Please don't be
Yep.
a digital ghost of Paul Walker. It's not. It's his wife who, for some reason, isn't watching her own kids. Again, I guess you can assume
Brian's doing that
Brian
off
is
screen.
doing
I
that.
guess.
Yeah.
Then
Father
a
of the
fight
year.
breaks out. The agency agents come to attack them. Off screen, one is getting attacked, and I'm going, please don't be a digital Paul Walker, please. And it's this looming
even
thing
better.
where I'm so nervous
Yeah.
he's always going to show up. But
Yeah.
even better, Jacob, the fucking peacemaker walks through the door.
Yep.
And let me tell you, he was serious and kind of weird in the last movie, but now
Yes.
they know he's the peacemaker and that his height of comedy and action are his strengths. So we're just going with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because, John Cena does have good comedic chops, so they're playing into that now. But also, literally one movie ago, he was trying to kill Dom, his brother. Like,
But it's
Mhm.
been
He was a
8
bad guy.
years, maybe.
Yeah, I guess so. But the
But
speed
now
at
he's
which
Uncle Jacob. He's part of the family, and
Uncle
everyone's just accepted
Jacob!
that. Which
Yeah,
I love
but it
how
is-
Little B just has
Hey,
a
Little
million
B.
aunts and uncles. Uncle Roman, Uncle Tej, Aunt Ramsey, I guess.
Family.
extended family.
He
Yeah.
has a great grandmother in this. He meets Rita Moreno.
That's right.
Yes, which I guess was she in an earlier movie? I never remember
No,
seeing
this
her
was the
before.
introduction of her. And I
She's
would
not
assume just because of all
Dom's
the father
mom.
stuff
She's
last
Dom's
time. No.
grandmother.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Sure.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, so that the stuff with John Cena, it is weird that Dom is not like, oh, I guess they don't have the agency, but you think you wouldn't just leave your son at your house when you know that Dante
No.
wants your family. You would put them anywhere
And-
else. You
And
know?
it seems like Dante is trying to, it's revealed, get the God's Eye just so he can track where Lil B is to get revenge. And you want to just be like, he was just at home. You
could have just gone to his
gone home
house.
and just shot
Yeah.
him, I guess.
Yeah, or
The
kidnapped
agency
or whatever.
found him before Dante did.
Because
Yeah.
the only thought is maybe I'll check at their home first. Like
Right.
isn't that the first thought you'd have? But
Yes.
anyway.
So
So
this
John
is
Cena shows
the
up.
Most
he's now the
random
pacifier.
collection of scenes ever. It becomes Vin Diesel's The Pacifier. Mike.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, Uncle
Thank you.
Jacob Toretto. Love the name.
Yeah.
And he's just fucking up these agency people. You telling me he didn't kill anybody? He's shooting these people. I guess they have body armor and stuff, but they're just agency workers. Like they're not
got
bad
helmets.
people technically, right?
No.
They're just
Right,
doing
but
their
they're
job.
NPCs basically.
Yeah.
According to the
He's
script.
just he's just going to town. And again, it
so many
reminds me of
civilians
when
die in car wrecks.
you remember the scene when Shaw saves Lil Baby B from
Yes,
Charlize
it's
on
very
that plane.
much like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like, oh, the bad guy is now helping Dom, protecting his kid. I mean, they are brothers, but they had a whole history in the past. That's in the past now, though. They've made up.
Mhm.
And
We get a really good joke where they walk out and Little B thinks his car is going to be this huge badass truck, but really it's like a Ford Fiesta or something.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
It's like a Fiero or something. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and
With a kayak
Jacob's
on
like,
top.
Yes,
hey man,
yeah.
you know, I've had this car. I started building this car when I was like 13 or whatever. Like, gotta respect it, man. It's old school.
Yeah, which is
get
a
a
very
dance
Peacemaker type line.
sequence.
He puts in cassette tapes.
Yes.
It's very
Yes.
Peacemaker.
It's
Yeah.
very music oriented. You're totally
All I
right,
was
Mike.
thinking is
Mhm.
John Cena is like a pretty good babysitter. Like, I'd let him babysit my non-existent
He
children.
seems good with kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
He
great.
does.
Well, he's
What happens to Jordana Brewster?
She's just at the house.
no one's tracking her down. She's fine.
Yeah,
She's gonna go
she's
hang out
fine.
with Brian.
She's only
gonna
Dom's
be okay.
sister.
Yeah, she just like returns to her imaginary life, I guess.
And
Yeah.
there's
With
no
a person
threats
we
ever.
know that doesn't exist.
Once the camera's not on you, you don't exist
Yeah.
in
Right.
this universe.
It's not like
She's fine.
It's not like Dante would be going after Dom's family members, like
direct
his
blood
sister
relative.
or anything, or his best
No.
friend Brian,
Who
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
part of the heist and the other guy driving the car. To
Yes.
Yeah,
the
he was
the
also
safe.
pretty responsible for
Yeah.
the death of your
Yes.
father. Oh my god, I love this movie. But some of that stuff works. I think what is Brie Larson doing? She just shows up, beats up some people at a bar, and then it's like, "What's up, Dom Toretto?"
That was
Let's
the most
chat."
random scene. Yeah, because
That's-
she was like, "I'm
yeah.
looking for someone," and they're like, "You know what happens to people that are looking for people around here?"
Yep.
And then she just beats some people up, and then
Shots,
Dom's just at the
shots.
bar,
Yep.
just drinking, I guess.
Yeah, and he's the only one who doesn't react when she fires a shotgun. That's how you
Yeah.
know
Right.
he's Dominic Toretto.
The bartender
Also, why
gives
did
her
the-
the gun. He's like,
That's what I was
"Yo,
wondering, why did the
fuck him up."
bartender give her a gun? Yeah.
It was on her side. So, but
Yeah.
that's the introduction to how they get into the street racing thing. So let's continue this Brazil.
But he gives her the
subplot.
cross and gives that to Letty so they know Cookie, so that Letty knows that Dom's out there and stuff. You know what I mean? So there's a little bit
Yes.
of, she's like,
Yeah.
have faith anyway. So
Tis the cross.
Yeah, and we get that connection there. But in the meantime, they've moved on to, I think he's in this abandoned prison, and he's continuing to track down Dante and just sort of moving that plot forward and just kind of being away from his friends. And it really is just a Vin Diesel face-off. And Brie Larson's kind of pulled out until everybody kind of reappears on this bridge, which is another one of these like face-offs that, again, it's like Dante has Cypher's technology, so sometimes he can like remote control cars, which was the big thing from 7 or 8. I can't remember.
yeah,
if I
a
knew which
waterfall
one.
of cars. I
Yeah,
think that's 7
yeah.
going off the parking garage and stuff.
Yes, yeah.
Remember in 9, was it 9 where they had all the magnets that could do anything too? That was fun.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that's when the final scene, I describe it as 2 cars fighting a truck.
Yes,
Like
Yeah.
that's what it is.
In this one, he's reenacting this bridge scene from the 5th one, the bridge that his dad died on. And as we find out who's the one that did the final killing blow, of course, it's our boy Hobbs.
That's right.
Mhm.
But
Punish you
he's
too.
engineered this whole
Post-cred.
thing where he's going to kill.
He's going to kill Danielle Melchior, the racing sister-in-law.
Yes. And he also has this plan that he's going to take Lil B. And
It's
all kinds of-
vague.
yeah.
But we do, just to quickly run through, we do have Han and Shaw talking.
Han
"You
and
ruined my
Shaw.
snacks.
It's the next
And that whole
spin-off.
scene is just so that Han and Shaw can punch people. And then he just
Make
says,
up.
"Your mom's in danger," and then he's like, "All right, I'm gonna leave." And his license
And
plate
then
says
Shaw's
"Road Rage."
never in the movie. There's just these scenes where they
Yeah.
It's like a
people
setup
get
for the
into
next
random
one.
action scenes and then just go, by the way, I gotta go. We're gonna wrap this thing up in another
100%.
one. I hope you as the audience know that. And
Yeah,
I
if I can
do, but I don't. You also want this movie to pay off.
Right.
Mhm.
To make a prediction for the next one, there will be like the end game moment where everyone shows up. Oh, it's fucking Shaw. Oh, it's Hobbs. It's Helen Mirren, Mrs. Shaw.
Rise
It's
of Star
fucking-
War, every
Mr.
car,
Nobody
left.
has
and
been
that's when
found.
Brian comes
Yeah.
back. That's when
Yes,
CG
I
Brian is
guarantee it.
back.
I've always
Yes.
had your back, Dom, this whole time. And you're
The
like,
blue
oh,
car
no,
pulls
what
up.
the
Holy
Music
AI
starts
is-
playing.
Yeah.
Wiz Khalifa. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be happening. That's what I think. Yeah, Shaw will be
Yes.
back in that scene.
Yes.
But now, yeah, they just have the scene with Han and Shaw where it's like, oh, you pretended to kill me, right? Yeah, I
Mhm,
guess we
yeah.
have beef because of that.
Can you still drive?
But then the agency shows up there, and then they end up fighting just the
Yes.
agency people together. Okay,
Yes.
Cool. All right, later.
They're here to kill me.
They're here to kill me.
Back to the Vin stuff. They have this face down on the bridge where like he does this cool thing where again like this is the superhero stuff that I can't even believe.
Oh yeah.
He picks up a car with one arm. He bends a piece of steel rebar with the other arm. He makes it so it's like
Presses the gas pedal.
he's being fired on by a helicopter and literally goes like,
Okay, I don't have a gun. So if I rewire the he's like doing car stuff.
I don't know what he
pushes
was
the
doing.
thing down on the steering wheel, lets the car loose, and just uses a car as a weapon. He can turn a car into a gun,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
At one
A
point,
projectile.
there's 2 helicopters that have harpooned his car,
Yes.
and somehow he turns that into he's able to pull those 2 helicopters and crash them. And then
Yeah.
Jason Momoa says, "Did you throw a helicopter at me? I mean, that was pretty cool, I guess."
That was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and Vin has that my turn, and he hits the Nas, and helicopters crash together.
Yep.
It's so dumb.
A lot of Nas use in this one. This one really featured the Nas.
Classic,
Jason Momoa is hitting the Nas when they're street racing too.
Always got to hit the Nas.
Later, when their car is being engulfed with fire with him and Lil B in it, he decides to turn the Nas on, which
Just
is of course
nozzes
releasing
out of
more
that.
gas.
More
Yeah, you
fire,
think
more
the whole car
combustion.
would just
Lame.
explode at
It
that
would
point.
just
But
like blow up.
The whole trunk is
Yeah.
full of those canisters, I assume. You know.
Yes.
but John Cena, Uncle Jacob, has Lil B in a car. He's trying to escape from Dante. Dom is now working with the agency captured Dom. They didn't believe that Dom is part of this
Innocent,
trap,
yeah.
that he didn't
Little
actually
Miss
do this
Nobody's
stuff.
hurt. Alan Richardson and him kind of come to an agreement.
Well-
I was wrong about you.
Yeah, and even before that,
Oh, yes,
how
yes, yes.
Dom gets into the scene is they're in a plane. He drops his car out of a plane to land on the highway.
Just get
Lands
me
on another
close
car,
enough.
Yeah,
and then
of course his car is fine, doesn't take any damage from that at
Yeah.
all.
no, his
That's
car's
how
so
that
then-
works.
So him and John Cena are in 2 different cars, trying to keep Lil B away from Dante. Dante's doing his thing.
Shooting cannonballs. Hold on. Let's back up for
That's
the John
right.
Cena storyline real quick because I want to talk about the Batman ship that he creates inside an airplane, a commercial airplane that they bought a ticket to, that somehow the bottom of it opens up to release a glider that you never see again.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you so this whole time when he's in the car, they're traveling cross country, he's got this canoe bag on top of the car. You think, what's this canoe? How's this going to pay off?
Mhm.
We finally reveal that inside the canoe bag is this glider thing. Also, Lil B is afraid of planes. In my theory is I don't know
Loves
if they
cars.
Yeah, he loves
Mm.
cars. But I think what they were hinting at was that so his mom died on a plane, which was Charlize's
He was
plane.
like, he like lived. He was maybe born on a plane.
Yeah,
He
and
was
then
maybe
Jason
held
Statham
captive.
saved him when he
Yeah.
was a little baby on that plane. So
Yeah,
maybe that's
that's
why
right.
he's scared of
Wow,
planes.
childhood trauma.
That's
huh?
true.
Because he says it's
That's
not
true.
the height, it's just So
Huh.
You're
they
right.
go out in this glider.
I
That's
prefer
what's
road
Glad it wasn't the
trips.
height.
yeah.
They get to this old mining facility. Dom's not there. He's promised his nephew that he would be here the whole time. Finally, they're under attack. They get inside this car he's been creating that shoots cannonballs. Okay, interesting twist for this franchise. We haven't seen
Mhm.
that before. And
Yeah.
then sort of those 2 parties diverge, while again our crew is inbound. Our other heisting crew. They
Mhm.
still have not gotten together.
They're on a plane. They finally
Yes.
figured out where they're at, and so they're on an
Yes.
airplane trying to get over there.
Headed
yeah.
that way.
Yes, yes.
So they've pretty
And
much
then
done
we
nothing
get-
but talk to Shaw and get on an airplane.
Right.
Yeah.
John Cena, Jacob, meanwhile, is trying to protect Lil B. They do a little pass off where Lil B has another classic trope from this franchise.
All the way back to the
from
first
one
movie.
car, to another car with the help of Dom. He jumps from his uncle Jacob's car to his dad's car. But then, very sad scene. Uncle Jacob sacrifices himself to stop Dante or to try to help them get away. He blows up his
Mhm.
car.
I'm going to say very happy scene when John Cena realizes that he's too big for this franchise and it makes no sense other than he must have signed a multi-picture deal to
Well,
come back for this one.
Right.
I mean, look at all the stars in this movie that just come in just for brief scenes, though. So I think, he's maybe
nobody's
not too big.
dead. I
Get
think
that
he's
money.
alive. I know he
That would
sacrificed
be-
I think
himself.
he is alive
He's
because
coming back.
no one's ever really gone.
But
And
if this feels in particular like it had so much importance of sacrifice of I
So
was
did
always
Gal
living under your
Gadot.
dad's shadow. He's saying
Yeah.
that to the kid the whole time. You know,
Yeah.
the one good thing I can do for you is finally live up to you. I love you, brother.
Yeah.
well, it is very funny that they literally introduced this brother
No.
character one movie ago. So he's been there the whole time, but really we didn't know about him until F9, and now he's died.
He's just gone.
Um,
And it feels again in service of like, you know, my brother is so good. The best thing I can do is sacrifice myself for him. Because he's so good.
Yes.
He should go
Yes.
on, not me, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But my
love you, Vin.
theory
I
is
mean,
that
Dom.
Yeah.
based on
That's what they
who
say.
shows up at the end of this movie, we're only allowed to have one wrestler turned actor at a time in this franchise.
That creates a
Interesting.
conflict. You are right with about
Interesting.
that.
Although we did have Roman Reigns. If you remember, Roman Reigns plays Hobbs's like cousin in Hawaii. or
Brother, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
whatever.
Whew. This
but
is
yeah, so-
complicated family.
R.I.P.
Yes,
to
it is.
Jacob Toretto.
Heartbreaking.
You will be missed.
Right?
Unless
a
you're
long
not
road.
really dead.
So
Yeah.
we've cleaned up the D plot. The C plot, let's just say that real quick. I think we pretty much said, but it's the
It's
final
just
shot of
setting
the
up-
movie. Is
Yeah.
is literally setting up this escape. They put these jackets on. They're going to go through with traveling through Antarctica, Letty, and
Another callback.
Cypher
The submarine, which was from another past movie,
8.
is back.
The
and
nuclear sub you guys stole. They brought it up
Yep.
earlier in the film. Alan Richardson said.
right. And of
Mhm.
course, Giselle, a pre-Wonder Woman originally, Gal Gadot, before she took on the job of Wonder Woman, who was Han's girlfriend who died, is now also back. So I'm interested to see how they explain that.
I'm
Does
just
he not
happy
know?
for
Why is he
Han.
on Tinder?
He doesn't
Yeah,
know
I don't
yet.
know.
So they set it up with
doesn't
Tinder. They're like,
know.
let's find you a nice lady, Han.
But
But his
why do
girlfriend's back.
It hurts this franchise that is all about people having this connection that they never let go with each other. If by
Mhm.
the third time they brought someone back from the dead, Michelle Rodriguez, who it turned
That's
out
right.
had amnesia,
That's
Giselle,
right.
who we'll find out, Han, who was set up in witness protection with a hologram for Mr. Nobody to
Yep.
protect a little girl. It makes it
Yes.
seem like they're not actually part of this thing if they can just take this time off.
There's no
Yeah.
stakes. Right.
No.
And it's like going back to the Avengers, even the Avengers, like, yeah, they brought Loki back and stuff, but like even they have permanent deaths with like Black Widow and Gamora. Like there's
Black
obviously
Panther
a different
and
Gamora
Dawn.
that comes back, but original Gamora died for real. So like
It's gone
e-
for real.
even they can like kill off characters permanently most of the time.
Yeah.
But I guess Fast and Furious can't.
It is intriguing that you can explore this very telenovela plot line now with Gal Gadot and Han of like, you know, we were both, everyone thought we were dead and we can relate to each other
Yeah.
now on
Yeah.
people thinking we were dead, you know.
I just
Yeah.
hope they get back together and live happily ever after.
Yeah.
So let's wrap up. The B plot is that they're headed towards the A. Everything's looking good. They're in this airplane. Boom. Hit by a missile.
Well-
We're going down.
Yeah, Dom
Mhm.
tells them as they're flying in, he says, "No,
Get
get out!
back.
It's a
it's a
trap."
trap.
It's a trap.
They get
Third
hit.
time he's said this in this film to different people.
Yes.
It's a trap.
Mm-hmm.
Their plane goes down. We don't know what
Behind
happened.
the
Maybe
side of
they
a
all
mountain.
died.
Dun, dun,
Probably
dun,
they all died.
Probably they're
I would
all
love a
dead.
reveal that they were gone.
Yeah.
If you told me Tej and Roman were out of this thing, I would show up opening night to the next one.
Yeah.
If they're gonna do the airplane survival thing, if there's anybody who enjoys snacks and would cannibalize first, I would think Han would come out on top.
Han is the only
the sole
survivor.
He would eat
survivor of the
people
Donner
10
Party.
minutes in, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
no kidding.
That's
And
too dark.
now to clean up our A, Dom
Mhm.
sees this. No, he
My
knows he has
family.
to continue to save Lil B. It's not looking good. He shoots down Jacob. This is
He
his.
gets
superpower
trapped between
again.
two
He
semis.
knows-
There's nowhere to
he
go.
knows-
Yes.
He knows just what the results of being in a car will do. If I turn here, I can hit the NOS and drive
Lil B
vertically
says,
down.
I have faith. That's
I
all
have
he needed.
We're gonna look at the lines, son.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
They
he
shoot
drives
side
down
of
the
this fucking
dam,
harbor.
basically the
Yeah, this
Hoover Dam.
Yeah.
Uh, as an explosion is happening behind them, like you said, it hits the NOS. You would think it would explode the car, but
Yeah.
it just barely gets them out of the explosion. They go into the water, they escape, they swim up, and
Cut to black.
big
Yeah, like they look up
cliffhanger.
Dante's kind of whatever gloating a little bit, and it's just like done.
Yeah.
I mean,
Empire Strikes
So-
Back.
yes, but Normies, if it sounds like a lot didn't happen in this movie, that's because nothing.
If it sounds like it's a
happened.
2.5 hour movie where
Yes.
not, that's
No.
because it is.
Where
Yes.
are it's people trying to find the location of other people.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the whole movie.
But again, this is the Infinity War setup to the next movie's Endgame payoff, I would think.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have the post-credit scene. Dun dun dun.
Who
Who's
else
back?
was needed to get revenge on? Brian? No.
No.
He will never appear. Stop asking.
Stop it.
It's
Yeah.
someone you didn't think would. Teth Adam.
Yeah,
That's
because
right.
he was the one who put the final bullet into the father. He was
That's
on the
right.
special ops team. He was there the whole time, just like Jason Momoa. You know?
That's right.
Yeah.
I ain't hiding you, some bitch.
Some bitch. Yeah.
He's got
yeah.
the
Son of a
goatee
bitch,
again,
you smell
which
what
he's
I'm cooking?
surprisingly lost for his solo spinoff.
Right.
Yeah, well, that was in between, like, I don't know, Rampage or something. Like, he had to have no goatee during that period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got like a gray facial hair now. Was I imagining that, or did I
No,
see
looks
that?
like an old man. And it was a
Yeah.
weird scene. And again, Jacob, like you're saying, it just seems very set up to every piece you could imagine to be on the board is going to come together to work against Dante.
Yes.
So let's say it's like, how do you feel left as a fan? I'm sitting there, it goes through this, and truly, I'm in my head this whole movie going like, this doesn't make sense. I don't really like this. And then it ends, and I'm like, oh, fuck you. Like, literally out loud. And we got some boos. One guy booed in my audience when Gal Gadot showed up because I think he thought it was such a
boo.
fucking letdown.
Wonder
Yeah.
Woman, what are you doing?
I think we're
here?
tired of the cop-outs. Like,
Yes.
nothing has any consequences in this franchise. And we don't even get, like, by the end of this, when they went cut to black too, I'm like, there's going to be more. Like, there's going to be more. And I was so like, I'm tired, man.
Well, I knew this was a part one type of thing going in. There's going to be at least one more.
Potentially.
Apparently
X
now
Part
2 more is what
2,
Vin is saying.
Fast X
Yeah.
Part 3. What do you call
It's
these
like Mega Man.
things?
Now it's just the X series. We have
Yes,
Fast X
yes.
1 through 10.
Well, this one, of course, is a
My-
sequel to
Sorry.
X by Ty West.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah,
This-
yeah.
This is the fourth film in that
Fast X.
franchise.
in the Pearl
Yeah.
franchise, we're going to get Mia Goth. It's
And
going to
the
come.
Pearl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, she just wanted to fail.
I mean, these movies, you know, I don't take them too seriously, so I just go to see some fucking crazy over the top shit and see how they can outdo themselves. But
Would you recommend this to people?
not as a, I mean, it would depend on what, if you like stupid over the top movies, then maybe you'll enjoy it. But as like a series, like an actually good movie, no, I
But
would
I
not.
wouldn't say, even if you like this franchise, I wouldn't say run out to this one. I'd say wait till it's on fucking digital so you can put subtitles on and fucking understand what Vin is saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little mad that I had to see this in theaters for this podcast and pay
Bro.
money for it. But
Yeah.
The thing with this is, like, I have a hard time. The budget for this was like $360 million.
Oh my
It's
God.
fucking the most expensive one by far, right?
Mm.
And I'm just so tired of the Vin Diesel vanity project. Like, that's all I'm seeing now.
But
Is
once
everything is there
again-
to support Vin Diesel
Yes.
being cool, and I hate
Yes.
that.
It's in service to him.
But the reason
Yeah.
why they can spend so much money on these is because they are financially, they do well. I don't know how
In
this one's
spite
gonna
of
do,
him,
but
I
yeah,
don't think. I
But
think
in
it's going to
terms
have a
of,
huge opening and then a huge drop.
yeah.
We've been
But in
seeing
terms
big
of
drops this year.
non-superhero continuing franchises, like this is one of the biggest ever. Just in terms of like,
And what else does
Yeah.
Universal have other than the fucking dinosaurs? And it doesn't seem like they're going to make another one of those very soon.
not for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
You know what
wanted the
they need to do
Transformers
is,
crossover. Yeah.
Yeah.
they should do a Jurassic World crossover. Bring in Chris Pratt. Bring in, Blue.
I'm holding my hand
Why
out just
not
in
at
case
this point?
the listeners jump up. Right.
He shows up on a motorcycle at the
Hey.
end.
Dang.
Is there a way for you to attach this nitrous container to my Raptor while I'm riding here?
I think evidence of
Yeah.
dinosaurs might conflict with his faith a little bit, but that's a whole nother
Yeah, yeah.
issue.
Yes.
Pretty much like we said, they're past their peak in terms of like, there's been two sort of peaks where I like the early ones the best as like real movies, and then I like
Yes.
the midpoint kind of between
Yes.
4 and 7. or
5 is
whatever
my favorite
as, like, the
midpoint
over-
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
5.
Justin Lin is incredibly
No,
talented.
he's good.
He knows
Yeah.
how to do the balance of silly, spectacle, the family, the heartfelt stuff. And that was the peak where it was like, oh, 3 of these, 4 of these, that's great. Once it started being like Vin's the bad guy, The Rock's in and out, all this behind the scenes drama, yeah, it just feels tainted, man. And I'm just not very excited for another one.
Yeah.
It's past its
yeah.
prime, and I want them to go further over the top. Just add in
Yes.
more ridiculous shit every time, and they're
Yes.
doing some of that, but like we said, crossover with the Transformers, like just
Might as well.
just take it out of the realm of real world, which they still try to be like, no, this is the real world. We just do crazy car things all the time, but just really go crazy with it. That's what I would really like. And I
Idris
think,
Elba had nanobots.
yeah,
Yeah. Just jump the Sharknado already, you know?
like Hobbs and Shaw was probably a better movie than like the last few of these, right?
I took a look at my letterbox ranking of the Fast and Furious movies, and 8 and 9 are the 2 I had lowest before this, and now I
Yeah.
have 10
This
as
is the bottom,
lowest.
right? This
Yes,
is my least
this is
favorite one.
100%. 100%, Mike.
Mhm.
The thing that I don't know if this is my least favorite, because I still like the Jason Momoa of it all. Like, I think he does a really good charismatic villain. So like, again, anytime he's on screen, I'm having fun, but
Mhm.
he's not on screen enough for me to like enjoy the whole movie.
Yeah.
And just the drop off between him as the super charismatic villain and then this fucking dead weight of Dom Toretto.
And then the non-humor black hole of the B
Yes.
team, right?
Yes.
The only thing you want to see is Jason Momoa.
Right.
Yes. But he's so tainted to me because the convoluted of the constant, like, I knew that was going to happen, and the Alan Richardson twist where he's like, and we were working together. Your friends are my friends. Where I'm just like,
Oh yeah.
the performance is great.
Yes.
The
That's
writing
the other
once
big
again is
twist.
so tainted. I hated it, Jacob. I hate it. This is my least favorite.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, he gets his punch-up fight scene too when he's in the favela or whatever, and he's like, the residents are like, we're going to protect you, Dom. And so he just gets to beat people up for no reason.
First of all,
Another
if you
extraneous
saw
fight
this
scene.
guy,
You wouldn't
in
try to fight
person,
him.
a human
No.
giant, like
Yes.
a human muscle, you would not try to
Yes.
pick a fight with him.
He's got to be bigger than The Rock. Like that guy
Oh,
is
yeah.
crazy.
He's
Yeah.
huge.
I
I don't know if
would
you guys have seen that Jack Reacher show, but he's really good in it. I like that show. And
I liked
I
him a
love
lot
Richard.
actually in this too.
Yeah.
I was
Punk
surprised.
in Titans.
No.
No.
But yeah, the
DC.
big twist, of course, is that
DC.
he, as the new head of the agency, was secretly working with Dante the whole time. He double crosses Vin.
Mhm.
But again, I don't think he gets enough to do because there's just so many characters and so much going on, but at the same time, nothing's really going on. So
Did he
Yes,
die or is he
exactly.
alive? What happened?
He's
to
still
him in this?
alive.
No, the villainous turn is the last thing we see of him, so there will be
That's
some
right.
payoff. He's like the Phasma or the general of this universe now. We'll
Yeah.
get some sort of comeuppance for him.
But even
Fair
that,
enough.
when they show the flashback in the beginning, I saw him I was like, that can only be Alan Richardson, the most giant man in the world.
He's tan.
You see his
has
back of his head,
neon
right?
blonde hair in this one. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, there he is, right to Jacob. Exact same thing. I knew it 100 miles away.
Yeah.
100
And
miles
of course,
per
they're
hour,
setting
I
up,
knew it.
him versus the Nobody family as a way to run the agency. So of course, Kurt Russell. They keep mentioning him. Oh, he's in the cold or whatever. He's missing. Like nobody knows where he is. Of course, he's
That
coming
That
back
has
in
to
the
be
next
leading
one,
to
right?
something.
Yeah.
He's seen
sure?
he already knew about the corruption and he's already steps ahead with a super secret agency that's even more agent like.
Of course.
He's the Nick Fury of this thing. They're setting him
Yeah.
up for his own little,
100%.
payoff.
He's doing
And Brie Larson is
Sword.
actually the Maria Hill of
Yeah.
it all.
Damn.
Turns out.
Not
Well,
the
there we
Captain
go.
Marvel.
Very Marvel.
Not for Captain Marvel. That's Charlize.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's
I
part of the
know.
family now, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't
Yeah,
know.
who knows?
I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
too.
I think they're kind of blowing it a little.
Yeah, and I think we'll see how much money this makes because it's the most expensive one. Universal likes making money off them, and they do make money. And during final thoughts, I have some hypotheses that I'd like to pose. But
With that budget, I just wonder how much of that is just paying all the random people that show up
Contracts.
for one scene,
right, I have no idea. But globally, they do good. Again, these they hit a broad demographic, right? They're smart in that sense, right? Like they're good business from a design standpoint.
Yeah.
They're just terribly made.
But definitely past their prime.
Oh,
Mhm.
all right. Let's cross the finish line here and get over
Yeah.
to final thoughts and wrap up talking the Fast and the Furious franchise, Fast X, here on Normies Like Us.
Did you pick that shirt because it's kind of Jason Momoa-esque? Oh, he didn't hear me.
What's
Did you
that?
paint your nails?
No, yeah. Did you
Yes.
pick that
I
shirt
think
because it's kind of Jason Momoa-esque? It's kind of got that vibe.
I did,
you
yeah. I
know?
thought, let me get this Hawaiian shirt.
Does
It's
the
really,
Yeah.
carpet match the drapes?
Oh man, yeah, he says
Yeah.
that line.
I know what you're
you know, I've
thinking.
got to balance out my masculinity a little bit. You know, we all need that.
Woo! Black on black, looking good on you.
Right? Can I pose this now? Maybe that's a good transition. If it makes the cut, it makes the cut. But my thought as I was watching these, I'm seeing all the family and kind of, religious stuff, and then I'm thinking, you know what's wrong with this franchise? It's not gay enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's no
Well, that's what Jason Momoa is there to
That's
add a
the
little bit of
chaotic
non-traditional
energy he brought.
masculinity.
But
Yeah,
now he's the
yes.
villain against the whole family. It's a weird placement, and then also it hits a wide audience because do the religious values play into that? Does the lack of
I don't
representation
know.
of
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know. I'm just
that's a good
this
point.
is just my
I don't know.
thoughts.
Also,
anybody
his plan
listening,
is to blow up the Vatican, literally the symbol
Yeah.
of the Catholic Church.
right.
Dom Toretto is famously Catholic, and Dante is the flamboyant, queer-coded villain, which can be
Devil.
problematic for sure.
Dante's Inferno obviously alluded. So is this on purpose? Is this insidious? Right. That's what I found myself wondering, thinking about everything as a whole. Maybe I just didn't enjoy it that much, but now I'm starting to think, could these things potentially be not coming from a great place? I don't know.
Yeah. I
That's a
could see
good
it.
point.
And
And,
that's yeah.
You know, there's a long history in Hollywood, like with Disney and stuff, of queer-coded villains.
Mhm.
I
He's
think,
basically playing
Ursula.
Jafar in this, Jacob.
Yeah.
He's
You
a kind
are
of a
right.
Jafar type, yeah.
and the problem is,
Ew.
I think maybe it's not a problem, but you like Jason Momoa more than any other character in this movie. Like, so you are rooting for like the villain because he's just so much
100%.
cooler than anyone
He's
else in the
the
movie.
most likable
100%.
person, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So interesting little thing I noticed because it does. People have been talking about, people don't want to go to Disney stuff because it's, we're not going to burn it all through, but like the woke stuff, it's like, maybe the movies that are neutral or Chris Pratt's religious and like, his movies do well because of that. It's like, I don't know. It's all fucking crazy times now,
Who
but
knows?
these definitely fit in a pocket where maybe there's an overlap of those audiences like showing up.
They are
more to
very
something
straight
Like this.
Movies going back to the early days when they would just have very gratuitous, like, again, shots of scantily clad women during the
It's like
races. and stuff.
2001 times, yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like, yeah,
like you
it's just
said, a lot
interesting.
of big butts in Brazil in this one too. They're not trying to
Yeah.
have that.
No, they've been doing that for a long
Yeah.
time. So it's just something I noticed that's, an interesting.
It's also the
Interesting
purity of
trait.
like, we need to have a baby together. That little thing that again feels like
Yes.
it went nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess Vin is, somewhat progressive in real life from what I know about him. So who knows? But
It might just be
Yeah,
like, let's not
something
rock
to
the
think
boat and
about.
get as many dollars as we can. It might just be like, let's just,
Yeah.
they're just being in the neutral. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting note. But I'm tired of them with this one. I do like them
Yeah.
generally, as a rule. But
Yeah,
now I'm
Mike,
getting tired.
here's my thing. I found this film not interesting. I found this to be a slog and a punishment.
Except
Yeah.
Momoa. Yeah.
I was so in the theater. This movie, like we said, it's over 2 hours long. I'm not sure exactly how long, but
Ugh.
it felt very long. And I was in the theater drinking my soda. I had to use the bathroom like halfway through. I was like, all right, I'll run out. I don't think I missed anything. But then halfway through, I use the bathroom. I come back. By the end of the movie, I gotta fucking go again because I'm drinking this liquid, and this movie is so fucking long. I'm like, all right, this got to
Yes.
be over soon, right?
Yeah.
couldn't
But you
believe it.
and you have no gauge because nothing has occurred and no plot lines have wrapped up. That
Yeah.
really I kept thinking, well, this isn't the last scene. Well, this isn't the last scene. Well, this is oh, it is?
Oh, that's how I
Yeah.
felt too. I was thankful
in
when
the
it
last,
came, but shocked.
the final climax action scene, I was just like, okay, this is gonna wrap up at some point. Yeah, it's bad, and literally, I'm rooting for Jason Momoa in the next.
Yes.
I
I'm
want
on
him
Team
to
Jason
kill everyone
Momoa.
in the family
With
and win.
Jacob Toretto gone, I
Yeah.
have no one else to feel good about on the good guys side.
Yeah. Oh, you
But
don't
I'm-
like
I'm-
Hobbs coming back?
I don't like Lil B.
No, but
Will
I'm trying to
be.
think of what is. So where does it go, right? Because like we said, we have Dante
Yeah.
very clearly, like this biblical reference, Dante's Inferno, right? And it's Vin Diesel, like the savior of everyone. Like, how does
God.
what is? Yeah, and then
literally
he's
they
giving his
literally-
one. He'll give his one born son to us
Yeah.
to save us. Lil B.
And Mike, there's
he'll-
multiple scenes where they call him a saint and say like,
Yes,
"Oh, if you're a
saint.
saint, you have to make
Faith,
a
a lot of
sacrifice." and
faith.
Saint
You're
Dominic.
so right. Like they
Guys,
talk about that
that's
a
so
lot.
interesting. How do we not
Yeah.
pick that up?
I don't know. I just had to get so upset. I don't know. I don't know what it was.
I mean,
but
so the start of the next one will be he'll get to the plane crash and save everyone. And maybe one person will be severely hurt, and that will be the plot to like help that person. But
Mm.
Dom will rejoin the family and save people. I guarantee
Yeah.
you it's the opening of that next
but then
film.
it's
if I
the
can
end
make
of
a
his arc.
prediction-
Oh, go ahead, Jacob. Yeah.
I don't think any of those main characters will die. You know, Ludacris, Tyrese,
I
Natalie
think
Manuel,
maybe
Han.
Ramsey could be hurt, but I don't think
Maybe,
she
yeah.
will die.
Guys.
No.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Jacob. It's the Last Supper. That's all the barbecue is.
Exactly.
And there'll be a betrayal. Oh my God. And then he will
so who's the
sacrifice himself.
Judas of the
Who
group?
is the Judas? That's the big question. Wow.
I thought well John Cena was kind of the
They've been
Judas, but then he
getting
came
info
back into the
from
fold.
us.
Right?
No, we haven't had the Last Supper yet, but I think for the final finale, we will get a scene directly alluding to that. I
Yeah.
believe it.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yes. Just knowing that he literally saved the Vatican from being blown
And
up
he's
by
a
a
saint.
bomb.
Yeah, it's
He's a
crazy.
saint.
Who
Doesn't
does that?
Dante says at some point, like, in order to be a saint, you have to either become a martyr or so, like I forget what he said
Sacrifice
exactly.
your life.
Yeah.
And then this kid again, I have faith, Dad. Like,
Yeah.
interesting stuff here
Very
at the end
religious
of the episode.
overtones.
Yeah.
You could have just been given that cross, that scar you got on your arm. Dominic also said how you got that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Let me see your
Wow.
hands, Dom. You burnt them on that engine.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, you've got some holes in
Stigmata.
your hand.
He's gonna like pull
Yeah.
apart a burning car and
Yes,
get like
yes.
the yeah.
The
Oh my
rebar.
God.
The rebar should have
The
gone
rebar
through
should
one
have
of
been
his
hot.
hands.
And they need to literally have a shot of them in the backyard, framed like the Last Supper. Where
Yeah.
they're all sitting on the same side of the table, like doing the pose.
They're
Yeah.
gonna
Just
do
go all
that.
in with it.
we'll
Yeah,
get a
sure.
shot.
They'll
like
be
that,
taking
I
a family
guarantee it.
photo at the end of one of them, and it
Yes.
will
Yes,
be that.
yes.
Brian will be
Oh my
seated
God.
next to him. They'll be smiling. That will be the final shot of the series.
They
I
need to
guarantee
hire
Yeah.
us to write this. First of all,
Yeah.
we're
Dude,
coming up
honestly,
with fucking great ideas.
way
If they want
better
to go the
stuff than
religious
this.
road, we'll drive down it, baby.
Yeah.
We'll put the pedal to the metal. Let's go. You know, we're here. Wild.
We're gonna
Anything
watch
that-
the next one. It
They
sucks.
could roll. They could make a table of just ideas and car actions, and just roll a d20 7,000 times and get their script that way, and it would be better
Yeah.
than this. You know.
Yeah.
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 AI could probably do it. Actually, you know what? I'm against. Don't cross the picket line. Writers strike. We stand with the writers. But
Yes.
Right.
let a robot try one of these. I mean, what do we have to lose, really?
Yeah,
Yes.
if an AI could write any movies, it would be these movies.
100%.
Dom talks about
100%.
family.
That is so
Yeah.
true.
We're not. Production's not delayed. We're not off schedule. Chatbot
Like,
And
you
he
could just
would,
feed
because he doesn't
the,
care.
Pages. Yeah.
Feed the first
Yeah.
9 scripts of this
Yes.
franchise into a machine and print out the next movie.
The
Yeah.
AI algorithm is the one bringing characters back from the dead.
Dog,
People want to see Giselle.
dude, it's oh man.
Yeah.
We
She doesn't
need
even
to
have
do
a
that.
line or anything. She just shows
No.
up at the end.
No, she throws a
For a
golden
second.
lasso around Michelle Rodriguez and pulls her
Says,
onto
"Tell
the
the
ship. It's
truth."
incredible.
Mhm.
She says,
Yeah.
I don't really
You-
think Dom's that attractive. She says.
I'm being held captive. Yeah.
Yeah, please help.
Yeah,
Oh,
more into
man.
Bradley Cooper if he was like a little hobbit.
Yeah, just a little guy. Well, what a fascinating prediction
man.
we've come to.
Go watch Dungeons and Dragons on
Please.
Do that.
Paramount Plus rather than going to see
Please.
this movie in theaters.
Please.
Mhm.
A
Yeah, this
much
is a
better
bad
movie
one.
that deserves a sequel, and this series has like 10 movies. So
And it uses
you know.
Michelle Rodriguez more effectively, even though she's pretty good in this. She's great
Exactly.
in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And also a non-traditional family unit. It's great. It's about family too, and I think better at it than
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Yes.
Chris Pine's
Watch-
definitely a better actor than Vin Diesel.
It's fast-paced too. If you
Shocking.
like jumping around from location to location, they got you. All right.
Yeah.
What was I had a very salient thought, and now it's slipped my mind. So, if you guys have final thoughts, well, hopefully I catch back up to it. I
I'm
don't
going
know.
to take a hit of this Nas real quick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat these special muffins that Pete Davidson gave me.
Right.
I'm going
Right.
to say the Pete Davidson thing, John Cena, and then, of course, Jason Momoa. Yes, we're big standouts. Maybe see this film just for those. If you are a huge fan of this franchise, if you have like any thoughts? Here's the thing. My brother's never seen a Fast and Furious before and made the offer to go with me to this. And he saw Guardians 3 with my dad instead. And if he had seen this, I feel like he would have had a seizure halfway through. It's just so much information overload. So
Yeah.
if you're a casual fan, do not go to this movie.
Again, it's relying on you knowing a lot about this franchise,
Yes.
having seen all the other movies. For some reason, I without even rewatching these movies, I remembered things from them. I don't know why. My brain is broken, probably. But
When you said Elena's name, I was like, wow.
yeah,
Dude, yeah, your recall. You're probably the second smartest person on earth besides Dom Toretto, honestly.
probably, yeah.
You
I
are
should
his
probably
brother,
be
Jake
part
Toretto,
of
so
the
it makes
family.
sense.
You live in his shadow.
Lived in the
Oh,
shadow my
no.
whole life.
My
Don't
whole
sacrifice
life.
yourself quite
Trust
yet, though.
me.
'Cause, yeah.
After my dad died, I even rode the bus.
Right. Jeez.
Yeah, but overall, for my final thoughts, I'll just say I probably have more tolerance for these movies than a lot of people. This definitely wasn't the best one, but again, the whole Jason Momoa of it did make that stand out to me more than some other 8 or 9. Like 9 had John Cena, that was fun, I guess. This one, Jason Momoa, doing great. He's the Joker.
Yeah.
So I like that part of it. But again, every time he was not on screen, I was not having a good time.
Yes.
Right.
Essentially.
My thoughts have returned to me. First of all, I'm the Joker, dude. Like, hell yeah, I'm here for that.
The
But
Joker,
when
baby.
when he's doing the mani-pedi with the guards that are dead and stuff, like, it is so bizarre,
It's a
but
very
it's very
Joker moment. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I just feel like he's like, hey, I got this idea, guys. And Vin's like, yeah, I guess you could do that. But
Hilarious.
Playing a charismatic sociopath. That's always
yeah,
fun.
Pretty weird what you're doing, but I like it.
he just took the second
Yeah.
unit. Jason Momoa's just like, hey guys, I'll buy you dinner. Get some beers because
Yeah.
let's film
Yeah.
this bit.
Dude, this
And again, even his his clothing
It feels like a deleted scene.
contrasts. Dom always wears this black tank top with
Mhm.
with the cross chain. That's his outfit, right? He never
That's his
deviates from
Luke
that.
Skywalker, the white flap on the
Yes.
black shirt, the silver
Yeah.
cross, right?
Meanwhile, you have every scene he's like wearing somewhat different crazy clothes that
Like
is
a
just
whole
like,
lilac suit or like a crazy
Yeah.
tiger print.
dress coded. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Interesting.
You're so cool,
Um,
Jason Momoa.
He
Just
is
let me
legit, yeah.
be
Yeah,
friends
just
with
like
you.
us.
Yeah. It's
We love you, brother. But what I wanted to say
Hell
for my
yeah.
final thoughts.
Hell yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna get a Corona after this. I best believe. We've done in the past, right? We'll watch every Harry Potter, watch every Transformer.
Yeah.
Right? We don't know what our big watch is supposed to be for this year, but I
Mm.
never ever want to do these 10. Can
No,
we
that
not?
seemed like a threat for a
That's
minute.
next.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm trying to say,
I was like,
can we take it
whoa.
off the table,
Yes.
please? Because this has
It was
been
swept
terrible.
off. Absolutely. I couldn't.
I would
couldn't
rather
stomach
rewatch
going through these
Transformers.
later ones. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
I think there's
Yeah.
more there.
there
Wow.
is. Yeah,
That is
I
a good
can't.
question of what we'll do next. We have about 4
Oh.
more months of Star Trek to go.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that. I wanted to point out one last thing.
Mhm.
No claps, no nothing. Like I said, only 2 other people in the audience. Booze at the Giselle stuff.
I've heard people
The
walking out.
two-
Yeah,
That's incredible. The 2 people, the thing they clapped and went crazy for, the Five Nights at Freddy trailers. So
Mm,
hey,
yeah.
cool, man.
Wow.
Great.
Old PETA. PETA
Yeah,
at Fred Night.
PETA.
Friday.
wow.
Beat it with the rock face.
Yeah, trailers, mostly the same ones we've been seeing recently. The Five Nights at Freddy's was a new one. Anything else? I don't think so.
I assume you
But
got Mission
No.
Impossible and Turtles and stuff.
Mission Impossible. I am excited for that. That's my
I mean-
family, okay? Benji, fucking Ving
Yeah.
Rhames, that's my family.
Benji Ving Rhames and Ethan
Elsa,
Hunt.
No
Is that his name?
claps for Dead Reckoning Part
Ethan
1.
Hunt.
That is. But claps for Five Nights at Freddy.
wow.
Can't wait for the Minecraft movie. Angry Birds started the
Ugh.
new revolution. It wasn't Mario. Angry Birds started the
No.
video game movie revolution. Yeah, we're not going to do all 10 of these in a
No.
row ever.
Or will we?
Please, Dante, don't threaten me.
Nah.
No.
But
that's it.
that's
I got nothing left
That's
in
it.
the tank.
No, I'm
Yeah.
out of gas
Cheers.
on
Family.
this
Cheers,
episode.
Corona,
Cheers, family.
family, faith, watch the line, feel the engine, quarter
Yeah.
mile at a time, all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
any
Listeners-
predictions for the next
Oh.
movie before we go?
I did
like
it.
I said,
Read the Bible.
My big fear is that Cypher turns over. But I, like I said, I would just assume there's a lot of bringing everyone back together and the Fallout Endgame style film you're pitching, Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wonder if there'll be any surprises. Like, I want to see some surprises, cameos. I don't know.
Yeah,
Mm.
surprise!
find
Your
out.
wife's not dead. Cypher was kidding. That was a nano bullet, and it was just temporary to piss you off. And we've been keeping
Yeah.
her. You know, who knows?
I don't
Right.
know.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Me neither. Normies fans, hit us up at Normies_like_us, where you can rate, review, subscribe. That helps us out a lot. You can also message us future things you'd like to see for episodes, or just talk and give your opinions and say, hey, I was the guy who booed, and this is why I did.
I was
I'm
in your
mad.
theater.
Yeah, we'll
Mhm.
accept that. Or if you loved it, let us know that too, and check out our YouTube page as well.
Yeah, open to hearing your thoughts on it, but I think it's pretty clear. Didn't love it, but thanks for taking the ride along with
It
us.
has like a 30 on Rotten Tomatoes or something.
Audience is high, which is baffling.
Of course.
Right
But,
now,
you
it's
know.
pretty
Tomatoes
grim
and
at the
runs.
theaters. I've seen, someone had on Twitter like different Rotten Tomato scores. It was like Fast X, the new Indiana Jones,
Ooh.
and another one that was also at like 50%. I forget
Rotten.
what it was, but I was just like, man, pretty grim right now at the theaters. Maybe the Flash will be better,
Flash
right?
will save us all, Jacob.
Yeah,
Mission Impossible, maybe. Yeah, the second week drop will be
Yeah.
interesting to see on
Spider-Verse.
this.
Across the Spider-Verse next week, I think.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff. Well, we got a lot of stuff at least to look forward to. That's in all likelihood going to be better than this movie for us, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've been your family, not your host this episode. Colin
Toretto.
Mike Toretto, begrudgingly, I'd rather be Dante's brother.
You should just be Roman, right?
Roman, it's me, Roman.
Roman.
Hey, I'm a
Give me
leader.
a receipt, Jacob.
Yeah, I'm
How am I
going to
get a receipt from a vending machine?
I would love to see you get a receipt from that guy.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And this is
I wish I kept my
Uncle.
receipt to get a refund. Sorry. Go ahead.
This is Uncle Jacob Toretto signing off, maybe for the last time.
We're going to miss you.
Dang.
Me
Gonna miss you,
familia.
brother.
Cheers.
Familia. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.